We open today on a man in a blue coat. He is not in Freeburg, but instead he is in the outer parts of Charus, a city far away in Montaigne, known for its opulence and grandeur. And in one hand, he clutches a letter. Uh, this man takes a moment to look around. He's wearing gloves and he's wearing them for a reason. But underneath the gloves, he can feel blood begin to pool over his hands, across his fingernails, across his palms. And he reaches forward into the very fabric of reality and he rests in two directions until a portal wide enough for him to walk through opens in the ether. The portal is one that looks like a still pool of blood. And he takes a moment to steady himself. He closes his eyes and he plunges into it. Just a moment later, he appears inside of the walls of Freiburg, inside of a shadowed alley. Um, he takes a moment to collect himself. He reaches down to pick up a knife that's on the ground that has a hint of his own blood spilled on it. Um, and as he does so, a knife slides into his side. He gasps in pain. He gasps in surprise, and he turns to see a man in a full cowl with a mask on his face, and without a moment's hesitation, kicks him backwards into the portal. The man in the blue coat snaps it closed in a moment, completely bisecting the body in half, leaving only one half of it to fall down in the alley and another to appear in the streets of Charus. Then he grips his side, and he limps out of the alley, and he begins to look around desperately. Hello, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to the Shadow of the Wachtturm, a 7th First Edition Let's Play set in the great lawless city of Freiburg. Our art is courtesy of Hero Forge, 1st Edition 7th, and Be Funky. Our producer is the wise, hilarious, and creative steward of Dirty 20 Gaming, Kevin, and our lore master for the series is the beautiful and benevolent Syndra. Before we get started, I wanted to give a content warning. While the spirit of 7th is swashbuckling adventure and shadowy intrigue, the story will deal with mature themes, including death, loss, suicide, and grief. Eisen, our setting, is recovering from a 30-year civil war over religious differences. It may get dark sometimes, and there's no shame in bowing out if it's not a place your head can go at the moment. So without further ado, I'm going to have our savvy swashbucklers introduce themselves, starting with Bat Kyle.
Hey folks, it's me, Bat Kyle. Yes, I am somewhere else. I am everywhere all the time. You can find me here on Sundays, probably most Sundays. We'll see how that goes. Playing Len the Smolder Costin. You'll see why later. You can find me at least one more time on Monday for the epilogue of our Grave New World campaign, the Buffy the Vampire Slayer TTRPG. Playing everybody's favorite half-demon stoner oracle, yay. Holy shit, we lived, King. And then you can find me on Thursday in the Fool's Gold campaign, King's Pyrites, playing everybody's. I guess we got to put up with him. He's just too stubborn to, go anywhere else. Druid Badges Newt, and that's really it. Other than I'll be on our wonderful Discord posting unhinged food memes. Over to Ruth.
Hi, I'm Ruth. You can find me here today as Runa. I'm also here on Tuesdays, usually as Exit. And Thursdays in the Fool's Gold campaign as whoa.
Desiree?
Yeah, that's the one. And that's about it. You can occasionally find me in the Discord, usually posting photos of my cat. And I'm gonna slide it over to Sarah.
Hey y'all, my name is Sarah. I am here tonight as Rosa Nix. You can find me here on Tuesday playing, can't believe I'm saying this, the Corpro Executive Magic. On Thursday, I'm the DM of the Fool's King's Pyrite campaign. And on Saturday, in our Thirsty Seas game, I am Captain Big Al. Other than that, you can find me over on Tango Productions doing stuff and things eventually. Things are coming out. I'm working with the Scarred Adventurer, and eventually stuff will come out. Art takes a while, y'all. And I will pass it. I don't know if I can pass it over to anybody else. Okay, over to Bison.
That's me. Hi, I am Bison_Stonefist. I am a regular contributor on this channel. I've been here for a very long time. You can find me here 3 nights a week-ish. Like Bat Kyle, I am going to be in the finale for Grave New World as Jack, I didn't need that kidney anyways, Aldridge. On Tuesdays, I run our Carnage Heights Cyberpunk Red campaign. That's a very, very fun time. I do promise, I swear to God, we will get back to it. November has been just as tough as October. I'm getting there. On Thursdays, I play Encino Bone Daddy, no last name, on the Fool's Gold campaign King's Pyrite. Other than that, you can find me in the Discord, where I am often posting about my hyper focus, which is Warhammer. I guess we're gonna take it back to Siosa.
I can introduce Rory and get him to post his links later. Because he's probably, I think he's finishing up a call. I don't know how long it's gonna take. If you
That's
want.
one of our, yeah, go right ahead.
And the blonde one over there is Rory. You can find him here today as Hans, and that's about it. Otherwise, he is hoping to get back into posting his music. I'll get him to post the links to that when he's done work. So when he does, check out those links or else. And I think that's about, and he wants to start streaming soon. Again, he'll post the links and let you guys know more about that. Kind of just the jot notes of what I know he has in the works going on. And yeah, that's about it, I think.
All right, we will definitely come back to Rory and Hans in a little bit. But first, we are going to go back a little bit. This is actually a little bit of a shorter flashback to a young street urchin who has drifted through a few of the gangs of Freeburg, and has found himself on the outs with a few of them, one way or the other. He has never quite fit in any of the gangs that he has belonged to. And now he is working on behalf of a pair of brothers known as the Ratcatchers. The Ratcatchers are, in their own way, better at espionage than anybody else in the city because they can get into any building in the city with no questions asked. However, in addition to dealing with the regular, some would say monstrously sized rats of Freeburg, Gav's specialty has been in, he hasn't yet specialized in anything beyond, assisting them as needed in a thoroughly unpleasant task. But it is on this particular day that a unusual man comes into the Ratcatchers building. It's where they have set up is in a building that's on the water's edge. It's got a basement where one of the two brothers cages all the rats that they catch. He has given some 300 or 400 that are caged their names. He does his best to feed them on the regular, and insists on taking them out of the city whenever he has the opportunity. But as Versweiflung, the camp of desperate people around Freeburg has gotten larger and larger, he has to travel further and further to get them to what he considers relative safety. there are those in the city who would be mad that he is, denying a reasonable food source to those who need it. But a few of the doctors in the city have actually suggested that it might be avoiding a health epidemic that he's taking the measures to do so. For his part, there's no real thought of it. He just happens to love them. However, the man that makes his way in is not the normal kind of customer that can be seen coming into the rat catchers. The well-dressed folks don't tend to come in directly. They tend to send somebody on their behalf. And this particular man is definitely well-dressed. He has a very fine hat, a pair of spectacles, and he, he engages with like the two rat catchers that are at the front. But from the moment that he comes in, his eyes are actually on Gav. Do you want to go ahead and describe yourself to everybody, Gav?
Well, Gav is large and bald and strong and big and large. He has loosely fitting, badly fitting leather clothes, big black cape. It looks like he's made of burlap because nobody would make a proper cape for Gav, so he stole somebody's sail and painted it. His fingers are nearly black, completely. Looks like soot. You look deep into Gav's eyes, and there is not much going on. He's currently picking his nose.
And the man doffs a very fancy cap, and he says, "I have seen you at work throughout the city a few times, usually carrying cages for these fine gentlemen."
Yes, I not allowed to eat the rats.
Um, he he kind of smiles at that and adjusts his spectacles. He looks like he might well be a veteran of like the War of the Cross, but definitely one who's come out of it better dressed than most. Um, he also has some unusual scars kind of around his jaw and his neck. And as he like kind of sets the hat on the counter, one of his hands looks like it's made out of red metal. And instead of like having flesh or muscle covering it, it just looks like the skeleton of a hand.
No big fighting in war, yeah?
He says, "Well, not for a while now," he says, "but from one battle into another." He says, "I have a contract." He says, "Not here in Freeburg," he says, "but I could use a man of, well," he says, "your height and shoulders." Says, "Carrying some things," he says, "and good in a fight."
I'm good at lifting.
He says, "But not much taste for battle?"
Not smart enough to march. Too many words.
Oh, it says, "There will not be any marching if I can help it." It says, "I have a carriage arranged."
He looks to the rat catchers. Does Gav have work today?
Um, the rat catchers are like, "Gav, you know you've always got work here if you need it." Says, but he says, "And we'll be working every day." He says, but he kind of looks, and the brother who is the more of the business front, he kind of interposes himself. He's like, he says, "What are you paying Gav for this?" Um, and the man says, he says, "I'm happy to pay up front." He says 100. He says to keep whatever room he has rented. He says, "If we're successful in our contract," he says, "it'll be 3,000 guilder for every man who survives."
That is a lot more than two.
Yeah, and the rat catchers are like, "I don't blame you if you take it up." He says, and he does kind of, his brow furrows. He says, "How dangerous is this?" And the man says, "Extremely."
I am good in fight.
He says, the contract, he says, is to hunt a monster a little bit larger than a rat. He says, "One I have never personally faced before, although I have done some research as to it."
I've never been outside the city before. He says that kind of like hopefully.
Um, he kind of gives a nod and says, "It will be an opportunity." He says, "Not one without danger." He says, "We'll be a few weeks on the road."
This is Freiburg. I'm used to danger.
Um, he we're gonna kind of, flash forward some like weeks of travel, right? And during the time you come to know his name. His name is Roland, uh, Roland Forscher, and he is uh, a professional monster hunter now. He served in the War of the Cross as both a medic and a sergeant, um, and has since taken up kind of, he's dealt with kobolds, he's dealt with sewer beasts. He very quickly kind of takes an almost like paternal relationship to Gav. Um, I mean, despite the fact that Gav like dwarfs him and stuff like that, the fact that Gav is a little bit simpler, he's quickly opening like, his books of like anatomy and stuff like that and kind of pointing out different things. He's even able to teach Gav a few things about like, being in a fight as far as like leverage for wrist locks and bones and, things like that, so that he doesn't have to quite apply his full strength to break somebody. He can just stop them from hurting somebody else. Um,
Work smart, not hard.
yeah, and he kind of makes comment of like, with a lever and a wrist lock, I can move an iron prince. He is, the group that is with him is somewhat a mix of like some seasoned monster hunters who've been on a few contracts with him. They mostly have fought kobolds. They had a run-in with some gargoyles once, and since then everybody's gotten some shiny new crossbows. uh, and and quite a few that are just sort of like porters and runners, and that are going to help with like digging trenches and everything that they're planning on doing to fight against this thing. They don't have anybody who has um successfully killed one before, but Roland doesn't seem to think of that as much problem. The area outside of Freiburg is itself like one of the it's through Heelgrund, which is like one of the better surviving territories. Um, as far as like grass and trees and stuff like that, it isn't like completely been turned to mud everywhere by battle, as some places have been. Um, but as you go closer, the fields of grass start to yellow, the trees start to sicken. And then they are replaced, and you see like little clouds of little like fields of mushrooms where the grass had been. And it starts to grow taller as you get closer to the area where this thing is supposedly holed up. You see mushrooms that are like literally growing to like human height and then taller. And every bit of water that you pass, just takes people kind of smelling it to decide against drinking it.
It smells like eggs.
Um, and at one point, one of the men, he moves and he kind of like dips his canteen into it and he sets it on the fire to like boil it. Something that, he was sure, it carried him through the War of the Cross. He had to do it more than once when they were low on water supplies and he never got sick. And he takes a bold swig from it, and seconds later is choking and foaming at the mouth. And within half an hour, he's dropped dead by the fireside. After that, Roland gives the order: drink from what you have, share from what you have. Don't drink from anything in the area. The water turns mustard yellow as you get closer to the swamps. The mushrooms grow colorful in ways that you've never seen before. At one point, one of the men brushes against one of them, and you see little particles kind of come off of it and like brush his skin. And he takes the better part of a day to die. But he loses kind of like all sense of the reality of around him first. Think of somebody who has like taken a lethal dose of cyclosobalin. He is completely out of his mind before his brain just seems to like melt down on itself.
Dies tripping.
Yes. And not in a good way. Like it's clear that the last half hour of it is a very bad experience. And at first it's kind of like a humorous thing, you know what I'm saying? And the only one whose face you really see go dark is Roland's, right? And he like to one of the mushrooms he takes like a small dagger and he makes sure to use his like strange hand and he cuts like a small piece of it out and he stores it in a bit of glass. And the general mood across the camp is like, what the hell is wrong? And increasing kind of nervousness about the danger that they've gotten themselves into. Roland describes it as a large snake. A day later, when you see it, he was massively undersold in the description. Whatever person informed him. For one, the swamp that you're in is like the water is knee high. Everybody's like careful not to drink from it. Everybody has weapons. You know, you've picked up like a crossbow from one of the dead men, and they've been kind of training you in like how to load it and use it, or
It
at
looks
least
like a pistol in his hands.
you know, like broadswords that probably once belonged to one of the dead men have been passed over to you without a second thought. Everybody is nervous and on edge when the Verslingen strikes for the first time. And it is fully, you see like a solid 30 or 40 feet of it rise up and out of the water. It's a pale white snake with eyes that are like almost pastel in their coloration. And the whip of its tail like breaks the spine of a man. You see him just like fly across and hit one of the mushrooms and like fall into the swamp. And then there's like a sort of like death roll as like something goes under and like the Verslingen like snatches it up and then disappears. And then you're hunting it through swampy waterways and going even deeper into its territory. It picks people off one at a time for hours. Each time kind of coming back with like a little bit more of like a bump in its middle from like where it's clearly devoured whatever it got a hold of. The the fight begins in earnest after Roland is like setting up traps and stops for it. Like, you know, the what would you have on crates and stuff like that is like pulled off and used to try to set up like a gating system so they can maybe trap it in place, you know, ropes between it. It's obviously incredibly strong, so they're in the midst of trying to like reinforce it as best they can using a stone bulwark that's kind of natural to one area in hopes that if they can at least kind of lure it into an area, then everybody can unload on it, do some damage, cut it down before it can escape again. It attacks in the middle of those preparations. At one point, the creature itself kind of like body slams the side of Grav and sends him fully flying like over one of the bulwarks, and his hand brushes against one of the mushrooms, and he can feel poison start to like go through his system. And like one of the Eisens that's there, just sort of like shudders and like throws him a knife with like he doesn't have time to like help him do it himself, but the implication of what needs to be done to survive is pretty clear.
This has never happened to Gav before. I can only do this once.
And you know, the Roland kind of like runs up right as like the hand itself has come off. And he's taught you how to make tourniquets, how to do like some basic first aid, and he's like tearing off a part of his own cloth and like kind of tightening up the wrist when the Verslingen like rises up behind him. And Roland just seems to like pause and freeze for a moment, you know, and then
Roland, get out of the way.
Yeah, you see it strike, and for the first time, you see its fangs actually sink into somebody. Um, and you've never seen somebody melt from the inside before. It's not even like they turn liquid. It's like where his eyes and mouth and nose were, smoke comes out. And then the rest of him, like a sort of almost like a deflated bladder, just like falls to the ground. And the hand just sort of like rolls off the stump of what was once his arm. Um, and then the Verschlingen is like sinking back under the water, and you hear more screams, more terror.
In pain and confusion, Gav runs.
Um,
His mentor is gone. This battle is lost as far as he's concerned.
yeah. The it's a little bit clear to Gav over like the next few hours that some of whatever was on that mushroom is like in his system. But it's not as bad as whatever killed the other guy. um, he's, he's kind of like delirious. The steps are, the sky is really colorful and then not. And then he's walking through darkness and can only see the roads, and they seem to be kind of like lined with the people that he had been traveling with for the last few weeks. He looks down and he sees that like the hand that um he lost and that uh Roland had worn is now on his wrist, and he doesn't remember putting it there.
I'd imagine it would probably grow a fair bit in size to fit Gav's arm.
Yeah, it definitely does. It readjusts itself. It also there's a moment where you're kind of looking at it and it looks like it only has 3 fingers, and then the next day it has 4. And like the tips
Gav
of
can count. He just knows there's a difference.
yeah, there's also like a difference to the way the ends of it sort of taper, and you can see that there are like symbols that are as meaningless to you as letters and numbers that are built into the bones of the palm itself.
Probably for a couple of minutes while tripping.
And you wake in the bed of the rat catcher's basement to the kind of chittering of many rodents. There's about a dozen that the rat catcher has just sort of like kept as pets that have been fully tamed. One of them's kind of, watching from your chest as you wake.
Good morning, Nigel. I think you're Nigel.
Um, yeah, and it kind of, like bounces down and off of you, and you see where one of the rat catchers is like set a plate for you. Um,
He it he loves his food. He sees food, he eats food.
Maybe not as delicious as other meals he's had.
Honestly, it should taste fine. But it like it something tastes like the joy in it is gone.
There's a pack that's leaned up against the bed that these maybe in all the confusion you thought you grabbed your own. You passed the camp that you guys had set up to fight the Verschlingen. But you don't actually. You have Roland's. And instead of having your meager possessions, it's got a small bag of coins, it's got books that you can't read. It's also got a symbol, like a little pendant that you have seen before in the city. A symbol that you've seen on the side of a building. You don't know what the building is, what it does, but I'm actually gonna cut away from there. Gav's recovering for some time. A few weeks, whether, like physically, he's probably fully recovered after about 2 or 3. There's
Mentally.
no, what's that?
I said mentally he's, dreaming of snakes.
Um, and uh, it's a while before the rat catchers put him back to work. You know, more kind of about giving him something to do than anything else. All right. And now we cut over to a cold and frozen winter. A winter that has come very early in Usura, and that says something for Usura. um, where a small band of professional guerrillas, let's call them, the UE version, not the GOR version, um, is making their way closer to the encampment of General Montague. Um, the extreme cold has and the constant attacks from like Usuran partisan forces and uh, animals has forced General Montague for the first time to divide his forces. And small groups are traveling, with the intention to do as much foraging as they can along the route. And your group, aided by discreet scouting in the form, is it an owl?
An owl. Yes.
Yeah, in the form of an owl, has been able to like pick out which one is Montague's group. He is a sharp man. His officers, they do not wear um they do not wear their uniforms and their, rankings and their, everybody's wearing winter cloaks and heavy garb. And so finding General Montague, everybody's trained to not salute at this point. They have been fighting, Usurans for some time. And the Usurans are not caring to face them on a, open field of battle. Um, what has been maddening is that Montague, despite the resistance of the very land itself and the animals trying to you know fight against the army, as well as the determined resistance of the Usurans themselves, has continued to press. And it's continued to press successfully in the face of all of that towards the capital of Usura, where the Gaius himself is growing increasingly nervous. It is well known, or at least well rumored, that the Gaius is not in Mother Matushka's favor. And the idea that despite being an invader, Montague might be able to reach him and take him captive would all but solidify that to the boyars. He wants Montague dead. And he has been very clear about what will happen if that does not come to pass. Your group outnumbers Montague's 3-1 and has the advantage of an ambush and a Kodiak bear.
Yes. Yes.
Um,
Strange how bears show up out of nowhere to fight.
um, and when the leader, himself a boyar, a proper nobleman, not an accident of a nobleman, as some others might be, um, signals the assault. Um, firearms come out, bows come out, and you, as the lone Kodiak bear, are sent to, like open the pathway so that the spearmen and the those who prefer melee fighting, which is most of the Usurans, honestly, can kind of go in the wake of using the bear as a shield, um, and get to Montague. It just takes one knife to the heart, one snap of a neck, and this problem is over for Usura.
Yes. Despite problems, I'm not a fan of this tactic, but when the Gaius orders, uh, you do, or you stop doing anything. So then we'll not roar in charge. We'll just charge, because roaring bear's scary. Bear showing up out of snow without warning and hitting your friend in the face is much scarier.
Um,
So we do that.
There was a person in the group that you had kind of underestimated. His name was Carl. He was the one Eisen that fought alongside the Montaigne. And normally, the Usurans have a deep respect for the Eisen because they're courageous, strong people. Carl is not. Carl is a coward, and he's skinny, and his hair has turned white. And you had seen him jump at shadows multiple times when going off to like take a pee or, anything that brought him away from like the firelight for too long. And he is what you had not been able to assess in your time watching him was that Carl is the master sniper of the entire Montague forces. He's a coward, but if he can hit somebody at range, he doesn't have to be brave. Um, and that cowardice also gives him almost a sixth sense for actual danger. When everybody else is sort of like shouting and like, oh my God, an ambush, and like calling back and forth in Montaigne, um, Carl has the barrel of his rifle aimed, pointed, and you feel part of your ear come off as the bullet bounces off the skull of the bear. The ambush is thwarted when the bear goes down into a pile of snow. Not dead, but definitely knocked out and brained by the blow. And it blunts the force of the assault. Suddenly, the shield they were planning to be behind means that instead, a bunch of Usurans are being forced into a narrow venue of attack, trying to move up and over and around you, um, and cut down by extremely skilled musketeers who are used to being able to focus fire. Um, there are still attacks coming from around the other sides, but you're kind of in like a state of like not totally conscious. Your body isn't responding. You realize that you are very much a naked man instead of a bear. Um, but like the mark of a general, as you were taught, is not their ability to win with equal forces on an open field, but their ability to adapt. And Montague's ability to adapt is the most impressive that you've ever seen. It's, he's been ambushed over and over and over again, and he keeps surviving them. Um, and there's a moment where like one of the musketeers is up and over you. He's got a bayonet fixed to his musket, and he holds it, and Montague like hold. Um, and you hear like one Usura and like, I would rather die than surrender. And you see, the Aizen just kind of like another Usuran is like, I'll surrender.
Yeah. Yeah. Then is like, I'm not too proud. I'm also cold. Naked in the snow is not great shrinkage. Can have a cloak. Surrender.
Yeah. And Montague kind of like bring the prisoners to the tent. And you have seen how Montaigne prisoners have been treated by Usurans. It is not with the honor that you and the others are treated. You're given food. You're given the necessary clothes to survive. You're kept sheltered from the elements, and you're not tortured. Montague comes in and his Usuran is bad. Don't get me wrong. Like he started learning it months ago. You know what I'm saying? But he's still bothering to learn the language of the people that he's there. And he kind of, I understand your surrender makes things hard here.
Yes. Our order was to end you or not return.
And he kind of he looks unsurprised and unfazed. He says, believe me, I have no more desire to be here than you have desire to have me here.
Then why? Why
Sa-
invade?
Says, my emperor has ordered me to. He says, so I understand when you say your Gaius has ordered you.
So what now? There is no ransom for then.
Says there's not enough food to keep you and my soldiers alive. He
Yes.
says, 5 of my men will be sent to escort you to the edge of Usura. Says there you'll be released. He says, you look to me, he says, to be men of honor. He says, I ask you give me your word now that my men will not be harmed by you.
I give you my word. If even if others not so honorable, they listen to Len.
Um, he he says, that is the best I can do. He says, hopefully some word, he says, will travel to the people in, he kind of says the capital very badly.
Len will correct his pronunciation and then just say, word will come back, even if we leave the country. There are those who may try to come back. I cannot promise they will not. But even if they don't, they will send word to their families, if only to have them try to hide from the Gaius's wrath.
He nods and he kind of he speaks Montaigne to the other guards. You know, you have one amongst your number that like has learned enough to kind of inform the rest of the group. Like he gave them the same orders he's told us. Walk us back to the border.
Well, then we will go and we will figure out a new direction from there. Um, just remember, we are sworn not to harm them, even if
Um
they are invaders.
yeah, and there's one of those urns kind of like it would at least do something to vindicate us, says to the guys.
Len will at that point uh, snake a hand around his throat, lift him off the floor, and say, they will return unharmed.
Um
I have given my word.
And he kind of, he doesn't make eye contact, but you can tell when a man's intimidated, and he's been browbeaten into the appropriate submission.
Good, good, good boy.
It's a move that like happens a lot over the next like year or so. As those who escaped become a small mercenary company of their own as they fight alongside the Eisen mercenaries and a few others, never returning to Sura. Within a year, you're the only one of that original group that has still survived. There have been losses to starvation, there have been losses to battle, there have been losses to desertion. Um, there's no real core beyond a shared need to survive, and that is the weakest bond between
Yes.
soldiers. Um, the the realization the moment you've crossed the border out of Usura that your powers have abandoned you makes it harder.
Matrushka was always the one constant. I am truly exiled. Well, time to find work.
Um, there's, there's work aplenty. You travel through Posen lands, which is the one place there's not work, unless you want to take work, hauling boxes around because you have like a fairly good sense of the actual like military forces at the disposal of Posen versus others. She has enough soldiers to probably take the rest of Eisen. Like she has next to it near 250,000 men.
Yeah, Len's just he'll do odd jobs if he needs to. Mercenary work on caravans or such. Yeah, he's got a place in mind, but he'll do what he needs to put some coin in his pocket and food if he can't hunt.
Yeah. Um, Wish lands are the next that you travel through. They're um, lands without real leadership. Like there are conflicting orders from supposedly the Iron Prince that you hear in different towns, and it doesn't take long before like the third or fourth town that you've traveled through before you realize that everyone is saying because the Iron Prince said so, but the Iron Prince isn't actually saying anything.
Yep, this is when people start taking advantage and things break down. Civil war is all but inevitable. So we're not staying here either.
From there, it's a move into Heelgrund lands. Heelgrund is himself ambitious, interested in hiring mercenaries, um, and after traveling through Posen lands, you make your first kind of real payday in Heelgrund lands because they're willing to pay you for every scrap of information that you got about what was in Posen lands,
And there
how
you
many
have it.
forces, where they were at.
Yep. Yep. Then we'll give them detailed information because those people are none of his problem.
And you also learn the character of, the Hilgrun commanders when you find out a few days later that half the coins you were paid with are counterfeit.
Of course. Well, the smart thing to do then is just try and move them onto some other schmuck as quickly as possible.
It's a year has passed by this time. You've heard of not even a full year, but like you've heard of the continued march of Montague into Usura, slowed but never stopped. Um, his persistence is impressive.
And I hate to respect him, but you gotta.
And worse, you hear respect like blossoming amongst the Usurans. The Gaius is on the outs with Matushka, but there's this person who's come in who is very much, in their minds, has the soul of an Usuran. He persists in the face of hardship, and there's nothing more Usuran than that.
It really isn't.
Which is when you come to the edge of Freiburg, a city that you had planned to just kind of like pass through, and fall asleep in, you've kind of left your mercenary company. The whole passing the iron coins on to a few other people didn't work out so well, and the group kind of scattered.
It's not
For
really what Len does.
For some reason, when guards pay you in iron coins, it's fine. But if you try to pay them in iron coins, they get mad about it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You wake around your campfire, staring into the face of a one-eared Kodiak with a scar that runs from its eye all the way to the back of its skull.
Oh, did not expect to see you again.
It says, "Mother was mad."
Was Mother mad because I failed or because I followed the Gaius she does not approve of?
I didn't ask.
Probably better that way, but I have to check. You might know. It doesn't talk to me no more.
It says, "I just know she told us no more." He says, "But this morning, she told me to speak to you." Says to bring a message. And he kind of, you see like one paw goes up and it digs into his fur, and it doesn't draw blood. Instead, there's a sort of like spectral essence that begins to come out, and you see the skin of the bear, but it's more like an essence of it, an embodiment of it, that it pulls free and it sets down in front of Len. And he knows exactly what it is. And kind of like next to him, you see the Owlite, the other familiar faces that have been companions for quite a while, or were, in many ways, they're friends that you haven't talked to in a year.
My friends, it is good to see you all. Heartwarming. Does Mother have a mission for me?
The bear like looks up towards the city that you're approaching, the one with the Tower of Bone that rises up and over it.
Do not like that tower.
Says, "You should get used to it." Says, "These gifts come with a price."
I paid gladly.
Says, "A danger grows there." Says, "That was all she told me to pass along. A danger such that she wants eyes and ears."
That I can do. That for Mother will absolutely do.
Um,
Does she want me to stay out of things, or should my plan to pass word back to the homeland on what I find still commits? Does she care?
Says, learn what a human can learn. Says she's already able to learn what an owl can learn.
Understood.
Uh, and he, moves and he kind of sets the skin on your legs. Says, same barter as before. Says, if I fall, care for my cubs.
Of course.
And the
Oh.
owl kind of like, and my owlings. The cat just kind of like licks its paw.
And
You're
it's
aware
a
the
little
cat
nose
is
thing.
fully capable of talking and almost never deigns to.
Yeah. The otter's probably been talking this whole time, and Leonard just kind of tuned the otter out.
Yeah, it like is the first one that like runs up an arm and kind of sits on your shoulder and nuzzles your cheek and
It's good. It's good. It's good to have you all back.
and you wake with a certainty that something has been given back to you that was taken.
Well, time to earn my keep. He's gonna grab his boar spear, break up the camp, and into the city we go.
Rory, are you with us?
God, the volume is way up. So sorry.
Yeah, no,
My
that's
voice
fine.
was my voice was super loud in my own head because the mic has like that's one of the Blue Yeti ones. It plays back your own stuff so you can hear it for like podcasting or whatever. Sorry, I was kind of absent for a bit there.
No
I
problem.
introduced you. You're gonna have to move feelings.
Yeah.
Did you hear the
Said that
opening
he gave me a shout out. The opening. I think
as
that's
to what was happening?
for the opening.
Okay,
I'm so sorry.
that's fine. So-
Future me hopping in, I should be hopping in a bit more on schedule with the launch of the stream.
I just wanted to know where we're at. So, Hans is on his way to a meeting with Runa and Rosa. To apparently it's at a playhouse of some kind to discuss some potential future possibilities. He's running
Interesting
late.
business opportunities.
He's running late, but mostly because he has the furthest distance to travel. He's all the way out in the Dragon's Nest, which is like the area that's like around the cathedral. That's where Gertrude's homes are. And she also wanted to talk to him about a young lady that had just moved in.
Yeah, Gertrude wanted to have a little chat, of course.
The and Hans moves into there's an area of like the market that this is the market that's kind of around an open theater. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Nobody owns this theater. It's just something where people will kind of come and do monologues or juggle or any kind of just big open um, uh, performance. The only rule is like don't try to do something when somebody else is there first. So
Okay.
a lot of times there are a couple performers that you've come to learn are kind of like known to be there at certain times and respected enough that nobody tries to take their slot. And everything else is kind of small vendors that sell everything from like pretzels to like some small knickknacks and tchotchkes, that kind of stuff. Everything is very cheap. This is kind of like a place for people who don't have much to get a start in like having a business of some kind.
Okay.
And you were kind of bumped into very suddenly by a man in a blue coat, and he puts a hand on your shoulder, and you can smell blood.
Oh.
And his face is looking a little pale. He's a Montaigne man. His hair is like pulled back in a ponytail. He has like a cravat. And as you glance down, there is blood like covering most of like his lower right side.
Oh.
And his Eisen is excellent to the point where you would probably think of him as an Eisen if you heard of him before you saw him.
Okay.
And he kind of like, may I ask a favor, brother?
My goodness, what has happened to you? Of course. Of course.
says-
What is it you need?
He says, my coat. He says, I need you to bring it to Upman. He says, he has a coat shop here in town. And he kind of like begins to shrug out of it. You can see as he does so, he's in pain and he's lost like enough blood that you have to wonder how long he's going to stay up. Does that make sense? And I would like you to make a wits roll. Your keen senses will count into it.
All right. Let's see here. Oh. Where did the character sheet go? There it is. Keen senses adds. Sorry, I keep reading. Keen senses adds 2.
Yes.
All right. All right, that's a 22.
Okay. At the edges of the market, you see that there are several figures in long gray robes with hoods pulled up. 3 of whom, well, actually, you can see several of them kind of setting masks over their features.
Oh.
And the man in the blue coat, he kind of gives this very like grim smile, and you see like a knife drop into his hand. He says, I will try to delay as many of them as I can.
Are you sure that is
Upman's,
wise? May
Upman's coat.
indeed. All right.
And he covers his side, and you see he kind of like moves, and he draws a rapier in the other hand, and he's like walking towards the center of the market, and you can see they're almost like there are probably 24 people that begin to fan out in a half circle around him.
Oh, uh-oh.
He the kind of like opening move that you see him do is as like one of them steps closer, he tosses the dagger into the air and he reaches and his hand seems to disappear into open space. Like it just turns bloody in a hole around it. And when it comes free, there's a pistol in hand that he puts around immediately through one of the people approaching him. There's kind of screams and shouts that go through the marketplace, and he drops the pistol and catches the dagger before it drops to the ground.
Whoa. Yeah, that guy. Okay, that guy's got more skills than me. I'm out of here.
And he run.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
running.
So we are doing
ASAP.
our first chase sequence.
Oh.
That is why we have switched over to this other nifty little screen.
Oh, nifty little grid.
Yes. So I'm going to pull Hans onto the grid.
All right.
And what I'm going to, so there are multiple ways that chase sequences can play out. Oh, do we not have a Hans token on there?
Uh-oh.
That's
Do I
not
not
good.
exist?
I know you have a Hans token. Let's fix this.
I must have one somewhere.
Stand by.
Yes, please stand by. Okay.
He's not dirty 20
A much
without
more handsome.
Ah,
Hans.
there he is.
Okay, so there are 3 ways that this can really like play out. One is to just take off running. Does that make sense? In which case you're going to be using like athletic snacks to try to stay ahead of everybody. The second is to commandeer a horse, which is going to have implications, but it's doable.
Yeah. Okay.
Which will allow you to use a ride knack. And the third one is to try to do it through stealth and obscurity, which is going to take the criminal knack.
Yeah, I think he's best suited to just hoofing it.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you just do an open roll for your first one. It's going to be your finesse for raw speed, and let's see, finesse for raw speed, including your athletics knack, and you're just going to give me an open roll, and whatever you get is going to be sort of the starting target number for everybody that's following you.
Okay. So just straight up finesse roll. Gotcha. And do I have an extra? Let me just make sure. I'm just double checking if I have a thing to add to this. I don't think I do. All right. What do we got? Not good. Very much not
Oh,
good.
Lord. Oh, also, sorry. I wanted to add. I am giving you a. Don't you have the athlete neck?
I don't think I do.
Oh,
Hold
I
up.
thought you.
Uh, I don't think so. Hang on.
Let's see. Yeah, you got strategist, defense, warrior, and okay, cool. All right.
There we have it.
Do you have any other advantages that you think would be appropriate?
Ooh. Let me see here. I mean,
Long legs.
not even. He's not even that tall.
Okay.
I don't believe I do.
All right. So I'm gonna give you a drama die because you're Arcana, and you're choosing to go with the, sometimes the better part of valor is flight.
Yep.
So the and I am also going to give you the option here if you'd like to reroll using your brawn. Basically, what's going on is like the crowds are so dense with people suddenly panicking and stuff like that. Hans is trying to get through them without really like knocking anybody aside and being nice.
Okay.
But like if he wants to take and use his brawn instead of his finesse, he can just begin like shouldering people out of the way.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Alright.
this is seemingly extremely urgent.
All right, so we'll spend a drama die for that, and I'll give you a reroll, and you can now reroll with your brawn instead.
Awesome. And that's just the same. Sorry, I keep needing to refresh my memory. The keep amount is just the amount of the trait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is the number of dots you
So
have.
it's roll 4 keep.
Yeah. That is much better. That's
Wow.
24.
Okay, so you are going to start out with a. I rolled a 7 for the generic minions.
Okay.
And you are going to start out with a. Let's see. 24 minus 7 is
17.
3 full raises. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And just pop some guys in there.
All right.
The guy tells Hans to run, and then when he turns his head to look, all you see is a cloud-shaped outline of Hans.
Just gone. Yeah, it's the dust from his coat is still sitting there. Oh man, yeah. I forgot about there's a lot of these guys.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then okay, and so 24 minus 16 is that's a full raise advantage. So
Okay.
oh wait, actually this is gonna be over here, and so we're gonna have
Oh. And these are the scarier people.
and then back here, they're actually in the same spot as the regular minions, but
Okay.
this is like the one person who's doing like the horror movie walk. Does that make sense? These
Oh,
two
yeah.
take into a run after you. This person is just walking.
Interesting.
Okay, so here's what you get to do now. You're going to roll your panache, but you're not rolling rolled and kept. You're just rolling individual dice, and those are the phases on which you're going to take actions.
Gotcha. So that is just going to be, where's the dice button? So that is just roll 2d10. Correct? Because I have
Yes.
I have a 2 for that. Okay.
You
This
could
is
also go
just the-
2K2, but
You can just roll
Oh, I can just click 2. Whoops. Shall I do that instead? Like roll them as one unit?
So it's basically, how many dice did you roll?
2.
Okay, so no, this is perfect actually, because
Okay.
so you have a 9 and you have a 3. So you act on 3 and 9. They are going to act on 5 and 10. And every round they're
Oh,
going to
okay.
try to catch you. If you ever get a full distance of 10 spaces between you and them, that person is going to lose you as quarry. Does that make
Oh.
sense?
Okay.
And then the other two, like these people, like they're going to have a further distance. So basically, what's going to have to happen is you have to keep beating them by a margin. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Here's the other part of it that comes in is that after every round, you are going to get to tag one person and have them basically enter the combat on your side, any other PC. And that PC gets to decide how and why they kind of like see and if they are, acting on this person's behalf.
Okay.
So it's not going to be just you for long, but you do have to survive rounds. So
Okay.
if you take a ranged attack of any kind, I don't even know if you have any, but you have to
Uh,
make a number
I
of
think so.
raises equal to the number of squares of distance between you and them.
Okay. I think the most I could do is like throw something I find on the ground as a distraction. I don't have any ranged stuff on me, I don't believe.
Throw
That's
the
absolutely
coat.
fine. So
They'll
you
never see it coming.
Big friendly rock.
so you have the first action on a 3.
Right. Yeah, I'm out of here. I'm moving. I'm gonna keep on
Keeping on.
keep on
Okay.
boogieing out of here.
Okay. Go ahead and roll your brawn again.
Get another up in here. Oh wow, that's
Holy
48.
shit.
That's really good.
Jesus Christ.
Beep beep.
Um,
Roadrunner up in here.
It's the nitrous button.
okay, so let's start with the minion types. Okay, so that's 5 squares of distance. So let's see, you are 4 square. Okay, so you are losing the minions.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
All right. So that is all right.
see how well it works out for the person who tried to just walk.
Trying the good old
Okay.
Michael Myers.
So these ones are gonna go, let's see, 38. That is
7.
yeah. So oh wow. So you're here. This is your getaway free, and they are now back here.
Oh. Whew.
And then I'm gonna roll this one last. Their action, their predator walk, is replaced by them getting onto a horse. They pull somebody out of it. You see them just like effortlessly slide a knife into their gut as the person comes off with a surprise,
Ow.
and then pull themselves onto the horse and start to ride after you.
Ooh, uh-oh.
GTA.
So,
GTH.
however, you have still managed to take enough twists and turns that by the time they've got the horse moving, you are across a bridge and out of sight.
Oh, nice.
All right.
Let's go.
So it is just these two. There it is now their turn to act. All right. They are not going to try to make a 9 raise.
Yeah, that's fair.
And are now going to be trying to catch up the distance.
Okay.
So I'm also spending a drama die for each of them. This is not something they can do endlessly, but so 36.
Ooh.
Go ahead and roll your brawn. They are determinedly trying to catch up the pace towards you.
That is pretty good. 28.
Okay,
Oh,
so that's
decent.
2 difference. Oh, actually, it's only 1 difference. So they, even
Oh.
with that lovely 36.
Wow.
Oh, wait, no, it is a full. So they get 2. Sorry, because they both succeeded and beat you by 5. So. Okay, so that is the 3 action, the 5 action. That brings us now to the 9 action, and then they'll have a 10 action.
Okay.
And you guys are like racing down a bridge, like they are. They're like pushing people out of the way just as unconcerned as you are yourself have kind of like forced a few carts to divert, and a
Yeah.
couple of people are like shouting at you and whatnot. The blue coat Um, the blue coat is tucked under one arm.
Um, I pause for like I slow down for a minute. Do I even know which direction I need to go at this point to get to the coat shop?
Go ahead and make a wits roll.
All right.
Actually, not to the coat shop, but to where you were meeting everybody.
Or yeah, I suppose so. To where I need to get to first, actually, to where I'm late already. 17.
Okay, you have a good idea where the coat shop is. Go ahead and make another roll to see if you've heard of Upman's Coats.
All right.
Sorry, I'm late. Some stamp
Nope.
guy gave me his coat.
No idea who that is.
I
Okay.
got this really nice coat off of this guy that got stabbed. I don't know what happened to him. Totally legit.
Yeah, free coat. Nice.
Yeah.
All right. You have never heard of Upman's Coats. You have not passed it. Like,
No idea where it is. Gotcha.
okay.
I'm heading off to I'm gonna save the coat deal for later then, and just go to the meeting I'm late for.
Yeah, just trying to lose people along the way.
Yeah, to try to lose him.
All right.
Ditch these fools.
Go ahead and make another long roll.
40.
You
Let's
are-
go.
You're
There
like
you go.
Ah,
you are expert at retreat. All right, I'm not going to spend another drama die on them. Oh,
oh,
Oh wow.
oh, so they are going
An
back
upset.
one, but they are determined.
Hey, these guys are real stubborn. Whew.
damn.
All right, so that brings it to their last action. And we'll do same thing. Oh, only a 14. So if you manage to get a 24 on this, you will lose
Oh.
them.
Okay.
You got this.
Let's see. 27.
There you go.
Let's
All right.
go.
Woo!
Who needs bringing in
Oh.
other players when you got legs like these?
Well, so that was also to make it so that everybody could kind of get involved, but since the chase was short enough, that worked out. So
Hans did not skip leg day.
No way.
It's not all upper body here. All right.
I do
Um,
not see a chicken leg.
So yeah, the very strangely masked group, you've lost them in the crowd, and you kind of managed to get off of like the road that you were on, and after just a moment, you can see the pair of them go like running by, but they take another direction. They don't see you as you go by, or they don't see you as they go by, and so we are out of chase mode. We are out of combat as well.
Still got it. Just kind of encourages himself a little bit. Just like, yeah.
All right. The so Gav and Len are, I'm just going to kind of do like a brief description of something that the two of you, wandering into the market that is usually a source of very cheap food, and for Len it's just kind of his first entry into the city. They come into a market where there's a man with a half dozen pistols scattered around his feet, surrounded by a dozen dead men. The rest of the market is still kind of like freaking out. The guards are just beginning to arrive. They're all dressed in some very strange coats, gray robes that cover their faces and whatnot. And most of them seem to be wearing, or they all seem to be wearing masks that look like they have skulls in place of features.
I do not like this.
I didn't know there was going to be a show today.
Right. This is very real. These men are, and women. Is it all men?
No, it's men and women.
These men and women are very dead. And he'll like poke one in the bullet hole with his boar spear. It's just like, right? You're dead.
One of the things I'm going to give Len a wits roll for.
Oh, all right.
Just
It's 2d10 because he's got 2 wits.
yep,
And keep how many? 2?
2.
Right.
Okay.
But
Yeah, so he's not. Yeah, there's something he's not catching there, but I was going to give him the chance for.
Gav is gonna start like, once there's in like a pregnant pause and it's clear nobody's going to be claiming these corpses until the guards get here. He's gonna rifle through some pockets.
Okay. Go ahead and make a wits and criminal roll.
Okay, my criminals 2.
while he's doing that, is the dude who has all the pistols around his feet, is he still up? Or is he
No,
like down at this point?
he's dead.
Len's gonna rifle him.
Okay.
That's 11.
Go ahead and make a wits roll also for Len.
It's
Okay.
also
So that's for me. You're right. You did your roll for their bodies. I think I need to do.
yeah. For looting, I got 11.
Okay.
Not
So an
bad.
11 and a 13.
Oh.
That Kyle, you will find a sealed letter on his body. That's it's like inside of a seam of his shirt.
I'm just gonna take that.
There's a seal on it, and like a delivery address that is in Kirk, which is in Vendel Lands.
Don't speak that language.
And as you're pulling it up and out, go ahead and make a wits roll. Another one. Bison, as you are
Stop making me do this. I'm not
as
good at wit.
as Gav is, like rifling through, one of the things that is strange is in absence. Like these kind of robes and stuff like that, these are like monk robes. But as you're kind of going through, first off, they don't have much in them. It looks like they've deliberately gone to the effort to like remove any sort of identifying stuff. But these are theatrical monks' robes. Like these are what actors would wear playing monks, as opposed to what actual monks would wear. Does
Are you
that
sure this
make
wasn't
sense?
the show?
And the masks are like paper mache. They're cheap.
Yeah.
If it was a show, it went very wrong. He's
Sadly
dead.
missed it.
They are dead.
They're very dead.
What did you get on your wits roll? 12? Okay.
12.
Okay.
Uh,
Another clue. No.
that is not dumb, but he's not the smartest person either.
All right. All right. We're gonna cut over to the playhouse, where we have Runa and Rosa have gathered on time, and Hans is running late.
Quickly, before we do this,
Yeah.
could I quickly do something like before she went?
Yeah. Absolutely.
She's
Use the gun.
There you go.
She's going to invoke her gateway rune. She wants to try to find her mother, or at least see if she's still alive.
Ooh.
That is a resolve roll, right? With gateway, with a target number of 20 for the first level of it, and a raise for each additional round that you're trying to view it.
All right, so my resolve is 4, so that would be roll 4, keep 4. Correct?
Yep. 4, or sorry, be 5, keep 4, because you have 1 gateway now.
Cool.
21.
Okay. Just barely. You see an image of your mother standing atop perfectly flat water. Around her, you can see the clouds in the sky, but they look like how you would see them on a calmer day if you were looking into water and seeing the clouds above you. Everything seems to be inverted, and the water just extends in every direction around her.
That this is confusing.
Yeah.
But I get the sense that she's alive.
Yes. And you can actually see her walking, like her footsteps across like the perfectly calm water. You see little ripples passing
She's
wherever she
walking
steps.
on the water.
Yes.
My mother is Jesus.
And then the image ends, and you can no longer maintain the rune.
Damn.
As I'm leaving, was it Garrett?
Yeah.
As I'm leaving the house,
Yes.
I
Garrett.
look at him excited and invest in because it's the language she's most comfortable with. She just goes, she's alive.
And he looks thoughtful at that. All right. So
Cool.
Runa meeting with Rosa at there's not a production going on at the moment. That's kind of the point of like why you're meeting, when you're meeting. Does that make sense? As you'll be able to talk to some of the cast, as well as Bran the carpenter.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. Rosa, since you have showed up with like a potential offer of interest, like while you're just still kind of sitting there, the place isn't even open yet, but Veronica like still brings by some ale and sets it down. And
And Rosa will look at the ale and just slowly push it away.
she says, it's good stuff. She says, when and Eisen, right?
See, but vino better.
It is, but not the vino around here.
No, not the vino around here.
It says, it is better than water, though.
See, it is.
She says, have you seen what crawls out of the wells from time to time?
I do not see it. It does not see me.
Yeah, she, like, as you're waiting for Runa and Hands and everything, she starts on a very lively tale of the last time that, like, one of the girls was attacked by, like, a well beast is what they're calling it, which is largely like a tentacled thing that just sometimes tries to feed off of, like, passerby. They usually start out smaller with, like, rats and cats and stuff like that, but as they get older, they're not afraid to go after people. All right. So for Runa and for Hans, the playhouse is a bunch of houses that had walls knocked down between them and was turned into a playhouse. It's the first time either of you have seen female actors. Um, right now they're kind of doing some stage work and setting up and prepping for a new set. But I will let Rosa lead off.
When she sees them both, ciao, signora. See, possible business.
I'm also going to say there's no role required. Both of you can see that Hans is like in a sweat. He has just made several over 40 like running rolls.
What happened to you?
It's a little bit strange. Perhaps we save it for another time. And,
All right. After this, you're talking.
We're not dealing with businesses, probably
Si,
better.
senor. My shop nearby. We talk.
Very well.
Yeah, so Veronica and Bran are happy to kind of show you around the place. They give you like tickets for free to come back and like see the performance that night. So you
Wow.
get a sense of like what you're getting into. Um, I don't know if you guys have seen like the last episode. Um, but
Uh,
we'll
Rosa, when they get tickets, uh, warning. Senoras, and you can kind of see her like motioning very much up top.
Veronica just kind of like points to her bosoms.
Okay.
She says it's opera with some bonuses.
Mm.
This is an interesting concept, to be sure.
Uh, entertaining. See.
She says the house will be packed though. Bran has he brings everybody up to like his office, which is like just really like right above the playhouse, and it's actually like large enough that it would be a fairly good place for you to like meet discreetly and talk things out, especially as plays are going. It's going to be impossible to overhear you guys.
I also have a little
Nice.
thing that can help us with that.
The he's like, I'd be happy to turn this over to you. He says, just go back to being a stagehand. um the thing you'll have to do is take it up with the Hall of Records, though, because of what I explained before about having some issues with the actual ownership. It says, to my understanding, it says everybody who still has a lease on any of these houses has left the city. He says, and the landowner themselves, the one who owned the houses, is dead. So they're in a particular state, and if your paperwork is good, then you should be able to take over everything because there's no legitimate owner. But at the same time, there's no legitimate owner, so we haven't been able to do that ourselves.
Definitely complicates things a little bit.
If you've got an in at the Hall of Records, you're better off than we are. Says
And-
that's about the only administrative institution in Freeburg that anybody really respects.
Yeah.
Rosa just kind of nodding her head. Our what is word for? In invest and I'm gonna say vest, and that's the wrong word.
Vidachi.
In Vidachi, she says, proprietor
Um,
has friends down there.
Mm. Yes, that's right.
That was in Badachi?
That's in Vidachi. So Anja not be able to understand.
Right, never mind.
Veronica
Runa's
kind of
just-
Wait,
Veronica
just
like
blinks.
is like,
do you mean like
owner?
business benefactor?
See.
Yes, right, yes. She should be able to help us with the paperwork problems there.
No problem.
Veronica
Not
kind of like,
not an issue.
Veronica, she smiles. She says, everybody's really excited. She says, having an actual patron makes us proper artists. She
Oh
says,
yes,
she
very
says,
big.
we'll see how those snooty folks over at the Opera House look down at us now. I mean, they probably still will. That's what they do. But
Yes, the rich people never can get enough, can they? But
so things don't take too long to wrap up. You know, everything is good. It's just kind of like seeing it in action. You know,
okay.
The once night sets, the place is packed. It is absolutely hammer full of people, and it's a combination of burlesque and opera. The does not have to be particularly good at the opera because of the burlesque part, but there's more talent than you might expect. Does that make sense? There's definite talent amongst the composers. There's also a lot of like just hard work poured into it. Given how hard it is to have a job, period, having a job that does not actually require prostitution or doing something terrible is a major step up for most of them. So and there's definitely like a sort of like bonding and camaraderie amongst themselves that they've started to develop as a troupe. So
Nice.
and from the perspective of the Vestin, who are not like all like bound up in how important Eisen is, it's funny. They're taking like a major Eisen myth, you know what I'm saying, and turning into this like kind of body, you know, all girl on girl like romance. Um, and it's definitely something that you can tell like makes probably a lot of Eisen like twitch, and a lot of other Eisen just absolutely like this is their element. Does that make sense? In the way that like old Shakespeare was very much designed to kind of play to the masses, this definitely has that sort of appeal. There are people cheering from like the moment the music starts and the lights come up, and
We've all kind of gathered still in the office, I assume.
or you can go to Rosa's shop if you want to talk there. You in the office, you will definitely have privacy, at least from anybody overhearing you.
It seems like a very good investment to start out. I think this would be a very good place to kind of start to spread our roots, so to speak.
I think you're right.
It gives us a good place to get people's liking.
Indeed. It's also a very good meeting point away from the kind of centers of the. Why am I forgetting the word? God, I'm actually forgetting the word. What is it?
Town?
Bureaucracy? Like paperwork, government bullcrap?
Bureaucratic?
Yeah, like kind of
The administrative center.
Yeah, there we go. Thank you. It's
Yeah.
a welcome break from the kind of administrative nonsense.
This area is definitely going to have a lot of appeal to commoners, but not so much to like merchants, gentry, or nobles. But that can be a benefit in itself.
Gets us in good with the everyday people of the city. It's a good start. What other matters are there to attend to? Oh, I suppose you all want to know the story of why I was late today.
Is it
See.
It
Uh,
was
a private matter? Because I can make it a bit safer to talk.
I think we're still in the office, in the soundproof, like semi-soundproofed office.
Her concern is that someone's just going to wander out.
Oh, fair. I suppose it can't hurt. I don't think it's a particularly private thing. It's just kind of a very strange encounter.
All right.
There was as I was leaving my place in the Dragonest, there was a man kind of in the market area. He's bleeding profusely. He gave me a jacket. I still have it with me. I came straight here after that. He's just been carrying around the jacket the whole time. I still have the jacket like on me. It's like wrapped around his shoulder, kind of like as like a big kind of like shoulder scarf he's been wearing it as, I guess. So he doesn't have to hold it. Takes it up. There's a coat store called, I think it's called Upman's Coats, that the man told me to bring this to, and there was a bunch of strange people in like big robes with these weird masks. One of them did a very strange thing. He basically pulled a pistol out of thin air right in front of me and just started shooting the passers-by, which was bizarre. And the rest of them chased me pretty much from the market to like maybe 2 blocks down from here, and I finally lost them. And they all had these strange masks of various colors and like strange robes. And they didn't say anything. They just started chasing after me once they saw the man give me his coat. I had no idea what that was about, but I guess I should get back to, so I should find where the coat shop is at some point.
That's
figure that out.
strange.
Right? It was fucking bizarre. I don't know what the hell is going on. I feel like I've just been implicated in some weird cult or something. I have to get rid of this fucking coat, man. Where is?
Inquisition.
No. No, the Inquisition dresses in a very particular way. It was not this. They were not wearing a single religious symbol.
Okay.
Well, would you like help finding the shop?
I mean, if you happen to have heard of someone mention it in passing, that would be handy. But I'm sure I can just ask Gertrude about it, and she'll know what it is.
Together?
Yeah, I just have never heard of this place before in my life.
Well, just in case the cloak people are waiting for you.
I suppose I don't think
Still
they've.
looking.
I don't think they got to it all the way here. I lost them.
No, but if they're still looking.
I mean, I did
It
see them
might-
still kind of running around, so it can't hurt, I suppose.
All right.
I would like everybody at the table to give me a wits roll.
Oh,
Keen senses will factor in.
Let's go.
don't got it.
So if you have 3, it's 3K3? Okay.
Ooh.
You rolled keep 2, not keep. Oh, never mind. Your wits are keep 2.
Let's go.
Okay.
17.
I have 3.
17.
Oh,
Good for you
nice.
guys.
I got 29. I don't know if I'm supposed to
Wow.
be rolling,
But you're not
nice.
there at the table.
I thought you meant like at the table.
Oh no, I meant at the table where
At the virtual
where-
table.
where-
Gotcha.
I didn't want to roll it again, so I didn't.
Look, I'm done with wits rolls. Thank you very much.
Let me find something, damn it.
3
Okay,
down.
you're like, that is a very prissy coat.
I've also I've
um,
been 2 places
That's fair.
on ship and here. Well,
Yeah.
3 because also Vestin.
It looks, yeah, it to the naked eye, it looks like a fairly normal Eisen coat. And but what I'm going to give you different things. Sans, Rosa notes that there is a part of the coat that looks like there's like an internal pocket or something. She can see that there's a part of it where something has been placed. Does that make sense?
Yeah, she's just going to go up to it and start looking at it then.
But Hans, having worn it a little bit, there was actually a weight in one of the sleeves that as you kind of like reach down for it, and you realize that like the entire design of the coat is to be immediately inverted and have a different color.
Whoa.
So like, but it is designed in such a way that it looks proper as a coat from either direction.
Oh.
Does that make sense? But with exactly
pretty-
different colors.
Oh. But
That's like an incredibly high target number for this era to sew and
Jeez.
design something like that.
yeah. I didn't notice that before. That's really cool.
And
Where'd
the
you keep
secret
it?
pocket that like Rosa finds pretty quickly, Badachi, like that's their whole life. There's a letter within it that is sealed with it has the imperial seal of Montaigne on it. Usable only by the royal family.
Signora Prost will want to see this. See?
Oh shit. Oh yes. Keep that safe. I mean, unless it's supposed to go.
Should
Hmm.
do we leave it in the coat?
That's what I was thinking. Like maybe this is meant to go back. Maybe that was meant to be delivered back to the coat shop. I wonder if we should
Or maybe it's meant to be delivered by him.
perhaps.
Coat
Hmm.
shop, no coat shop?
That is quite possible. Perhaps we still have to make a visit there after all. Figure out what is.
Together we go to coat shop.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is seeming like a good idea every second. Seeming like a better idea the more I look at this thing.
Shall we go?
I suppose so, unless the two of you have any extra business.
No.
No.
All right. Well, there's off we go to see a coat shop then.
Okay.
We're off to see
Not
the
think that would
wizard.
be
Coat
as
shop.
exciting as it would be.
Okay. So I am going to ask for, I'm sorry, more wits rolls from Gavin Len. However, Gab, you get to add your criminal knack. If you have the criminal knack as well, Lynn, you can also do that.
Doesn't have the criminal knack, but does have keen senses. I don't know if that.
I will give you keen senses. I will actually also in this case give you your you have like nature tracking type abilities, right?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to give them to you for this roll as well.
Are
Okay,
you
so-
kidding me? I rolled 3 ones. That 29 was
know
my
how you
best wits
feel.
roll. It's
Ooh.
gonna be my best roll of the campaign. I'm damned. May I ask for a reroll using roll 20?
You have the fortunate hubris, which allows you to spend a drama die and get a success, I believe.
38.
No, wait.
Holy shit. Yeah.
Especially that.
Okay. Um,
I
So-
smell pretzels. And a secret.
you didn't catch it at first when you took the letter out from the man's jacket from inside of his shirt. But as you've been moving through the city, I'm just for the sake of ease, I'm kind of assuming that you and Gav are like hanging out for the moment, just because like talking about the weirdness that you saw.
Yeah, why
Right.
not? And-
It's just a few minutes later, you know what I'm saying? And what you've begun to realize is that there are people following you through the city. They are doing their best to be discreet about it. But you can trace it pretty much to since you picked up that letter.
Len's gonna kind of lean into Gav and be like, possibly we shouldn't have rolled those bodies. Like, oh, sorry, there was my pseudo accent. Possibly we should not have rolled those bodies. My big friend, we are being followed. Don't
Then,
look back.
then perhaps we go to Riverfront. Nobody wants to go there.
That makes sense. Do you know of a good alley where people could walk in and maybe not walk back out again under
I
their
know
own
most of them.
power? Oh, good,
Being in most of those alleys.
good. Let us arrange a meeting for these people who are suddenly so interested in us. And so we're gonna do that. We're gonna find a nice dark alley.
Okay. I am going to give you, you may use strategist for this, or you may use criminal and use stealth.
Definitely criminal.
Yeah.
It's a wit roll either way, though.
I got
Actually, no,
brawler,
you guys have all-
warlord, naturalist.
You guys are all in jail. I'm rolling use the 3 key. 15.
Ugh, 9.
Okay. The
Len is
You-
just too handsome. You can't just not see him.
Len's doing his best to just kind of follow. You guys are in the riverfront and you're in an area that's like near the marketplace. And you're on your way towards some of the shops that are a little bit like more like clumped and clustered together because they'll usually be closed at this hour. And it'll limit the approach from different directions. It is also near where Rosa's shop is, which I'm going to assume that the rest of the party is sort of like on their way there so that they confer with the person who knows the city best that Rosa knows is Tav, because he has been here for some time and he might have an
thought we
idea
were
where up
going
and
to
shops
the
are.
shop.
He
Or
will
he-
know where the shop is.
Okay,
Does
I
that
get
make sense?
it now.
Because it's one shop in a very large city that nobody else has heard of yet. And I'm gonna have wits rolls from the three of you as well, as you're kind of like approaching towards the shops.
One of you
And
roll better than I did, please.
18!
And Rory is going to
25.
get a +5.
I think he went to just run his plate upstairs.
There, doesn't he know you wallow in your own filth during a game?
I will. I'm going to give this to both of you. I'm also going to give a little bit more to Rosa. As you're heading towards like the shops that are near the marketplace, it's not quite your area of shops though. There's a strange pattern of traffic of people kind of looking. It looks like they're trying to like block off and surround a single alley. Does that make sense? And as you're kind of like making your way and keeping a little bit quiet and sharing looks, you see that some of them are starting to like climb and up and over the back of those shops. They're handing pistols to be loaded, readying knives. Like there's a group of people that looks like they're about to swoop in on an ambush.
That's not good.
Yeah, no. Shall we do something about that?
We'd be outnumbered.
Yeah,
I no fight.
that's fair.
I have
Bastards
one
leave
thing
us.
I can do, and I have a dagger.
Hans, go ahead and give me a wits roll as well.
All right.
It's him. He's got the coat. Get him.
Not 9.
Oh,
Okay.
but he gets a +5, right?
Yes, you do, but I'm still not going to give
Oh.
you what
Just a
you have. What I
14.
give to everybody else, but no more.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So they are attempting to ambush. However, Rosa, Runa, and Hans are capable of foiling their ambush and pre-ambushing them.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? As well as giving warning to Len and Gav. Like Gav is at this point, he has like the hairs on his back of his neck going up, like the ones that go up right before like a tentacle grabs him and tries to pull him into a well or something. So he's
there-
aware there's danger. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anyone that looks like they'd be like the head guy that is coming up?
I will allow the an action to make a wits roll. If you want to give up an action in the combat, I will allow you to do that to try to make a who is in charge.
Because I was gonna use my like sneaky ambush thing to maybe ooh,
Rosa.
but it would call a lot of attention, which is my concern.
I'm going to give the three of you one action that you can take as part of the surprise round, and it's also going to Gavin, Len, it's going to make it so that you are not under the effects of surprise. You guys were doing well in your wits rolls, so when we go into combat, it'll be less like one-sided. Does that make sense? There are 4 brute squads, 2 henchmen, and a villain present at this fight.
Oh.
We need to throw something very big.
Not me.
Gonna
Let's
throw
see.
lightning.
So okay, so everyone,
Special
actually, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna give everybody an opening action. You can just declare your intents, and I'll give you all an action, and then we'll go into rolling initiative and whatnot.
Okay.
I'm gonna let you two, the other two take theirs first.
Um,
Right.
But I think I know what I want to do.
If it looks like people are coming up over the roofs, Gav is gonna just get his boar spear out and he's gonna go jump.
Rosa. She's basically just going to yell and take off her mask.
Oh.
Okay. What is your intention with that? Are you intending an intimidation?
More trying to see if I can get any of their attention.
Okay.
Using stunning.
Okay, so I will have that be a charm roll that you get to use your appearance for.
Yep.
Uh, do you have like voice or dangerous beauty of any kind?
Not yet.
Okay.
I was going to grab dangerous beauty, but I grabbed stunning.
Does that mean you're going to be flashing them?
Only
Sorry,
with
just-
her beauty.
Um. All right. Grab everybody else. What are you guys seeing right now? You still seeing the grid page?
Yeah,
Yeah.
still
Yeah,
seeing
the
the
start to end.
combat, the chase grid.
Okay. All right. If you are not yet on the grid, just go ahead and put yourself on it. This is not going to be like a position yourself in any kind of way. Movement and facing and all that, it just kind of irrelevant. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Unless I declare somebody to be a very long distance away. In which case I'll use something like that. If you guys, in general, Gavin, Len are on the inside and everybody else is on the outside. Go ahead and make your charm roll and declare a target of it. And you can make a raise for each additional person that you want to try to charm. These guys are tier 2 brutes, which means the TN is a 15 to actively affect them. So if you wanted to get like all 3 of them, you would have to roll 15 plus 15, so a 30 on your wits roll.
Okay, so that's 4K3.
Yes, but you
Yes,
have to
I'm
declare
stunning.
raises beforehand. We are in combat. So
Okay. I know I'm trying to go for the villain, and the 2 henchmen are the 2 that I'm really trying to go for.
okay. Because of the way stuff is structured, like brutes can be affected by like group actions, but in general, and you're going to pick like the central target. This one is the actual leader, although you're not aware of it yet. They're the full villain, the one with the yellow mask, and their target number to be affected is a 25.
Okay, yeah, that's who I'm going for.
Okay.
So
All right.
it'd be a 5K3.
Yep.
Okay.
And then Runa, with your lightning is what you're doing, right?
Yeah, she's gonna go over the rune on her right wrist, and she's going for the yellow one.
Oh, wait, I am sorry. The target number for everybody to be distracted because it is a surprise round is a 5. And the target number to hit somebody is a 5.
Okay.
Also, for now, the damage thing is confusing. I just need to.
Well, first roll your to hit. So you have to call
Yeah.
raises above your target number. You have to do the 15 just to summon Fury. And then after that, you get the attack roll, which is your mastery
Means
plus Phil's cap. So
that the roll 4 keep 4. Or my
it's
result.
what is your Vilscap at?
Hmm?
What's your Vilscap at?
2.
Okay, so it's your mastery degree of 1 plus your Vilscap of 2, so it's a 3 keep 2 for the attack and the damage roll.
Okay.
You are honestly better served hitting the minions with lightning because the amount of damage does not matter. And each additional raise will let you take out an additional minion.
Okay.
Just a GM offering suggestion since everybody's first new to combat.
So if I were to raise 1, I'd hit
Yep.
both.
You take
if
out
I
if you were to raise
Okay.
once on your, so you have to roll the target number 15. Do this first. Just roll your resolve plus Phil's cap, and that's to make sure that your fury goes off just fine. And then after that, you make an attack roll.
So my resolve plus. So that would be a roll 6.
I believe so. What's your resolve? 3,
4.
4? Yeah. So that's a 6 keep 4.
$22.
Okay.
I got a 16.
Okay, so that goes off. The 16 is going to I'm gonna have her lose her first action that she rolls of the round. from that. And then Ruth is going to now roll an attack roll of Mastery Degree plus Vilscap, which for her is 3 keep 2. It's a target number 5 because they're not yet in combat. Every race takes out an additional Brute Squad member.
Okay, so 4 keep 3.
But you gotta call your raises
I'm
before.
raising.
No, it's 3
Like
keep
that?
2.
3 keep
It's
2.
Mastery Degree plus Vilscap.
Okay. And I'm going to raise 1.
Okay.
13.
Okay. Okay. So, and then Hans, what is Hans doing?
Oh. So everyone's kind of descending in.
Yeah, he's seeing the people starting to kind of like pull masks out as they're getting ready to fight.
Okay.
And he recognizes the colorful masks as the ones who are more persistent.
Indeed. Recognize these 3 people right there.
It's Larry, Curly, and Mo.
I think immediately he's kind of just like analyzing the situation. I want to see I want to look for a weak link here, aside from just the cannon fodder brutes. I want to look for a weak link among the higher level guys and kind of pick a target from the 3 of them.
Go ahead
If I can
and
do
roll.
that.
I'm going to give you an open roll of your wits plus your strategy.
Hell
All
yeah.
right. And for everything you get over a 15, you're going, for every 5 you get over 15, you're going to get a free raise you can give to anybody else during the course of the combat.
Oh, okay.
Also, to clarify, while he's doing that, I did 1 raise, so I hit both of the minions, so the other 2
You
in the
hit
closed
2.
masks.
So out of this group of 4, 2 of them are going to be dead.
Okay.
That's 18. No free raises.
Okay. I will give you 1 is just a success
Oh,
threshold.
dope.
Okay. Len and Gav, what are you guys up to?
Is
You're
anybody
kind of-
good spearing range?
There can absolutely be. You can close the distance. Basically, if you want to take melee actions, you can take melee actions. If you want to take ranged actions, you can take ranged actions.
The instinct is to immediately go bear and show these people what's up, but probably not great for maintaining cover. So we'll save that for a surprise for later. And
Sure.
we're just gonna seems like the swarm is probably the biggest risk. So can you reach the group where 2 of them have already been suddenly lightning nuked?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, then we're gonna shank them.
Thunderstruck, if you will.
Okay.
Thunderstruck.
They're target number 5, and if you raise once, you're going to kill the remaining group of them.
Outstanding. And that's what my warrior plus strength or finesse or brawn or finesse. What's the
It's finesse to hit.
Okay.
Brawn for damage.
they're both the same thing. So that's 5 keep how many? All 5?
That is 5. What's your finesse? Just keep
3.
your finesse. So 5 keep 3.
5 keep 3.
You only got to hit a 10, so please hit a 10. All right, there we go. Okay, so that stack is dead. And Gav, your action.
Okay. The house that those guys with pistols are going up onto, is it occupied?
Yeah. I mean, well, it's a shop actually, not a house.
Oh, it's a shop. Okay.
It's a small little like 1 room. And there's several shops in several different groups they're kind of getting up on. This is all tiny stalls, tiny little market. Does that make sense? Like they're
Yeah.
usually big enough for like some inventory, a window that the trader stands inside of and deals over a shelf, and that's about it.
Ooh. Oh, it would probably take too many raises to do what I want to do. So he is going to grab a loose cobblestone or something out of the road. And loose is a very broad definition when it's Gav. And he's going to yeet that at Green's face.
Okay. He is a target number 5 to hit right now. Every raise that you call will give you an additional unkept die on damage.
Okay, I'm 6, keep 4. So I'm going to raise.
For your attack roll, I don't
If
think you
I'm-
have a finesse of 4.
Oh, it's finesse?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I was thinking brawn.
Brawn is
Run is
damage.
damage.
Yeah, okay, so that's 4k2. I'm gonna raise once.
Okay.
Definitely hits. That's a 9. That is 26.
Okay, so that'll hit with an extra unkept die of damage. Because it's an improvised weapon, it's a 1 keep 1 weapon. Plus his
with
brawn
30?
of 4.
Even with dirty fighting?
Yeah, the dirty fighting doesn't change.
Okay, just making sure.
There is an entire swordsmanship school that I think can raise them to like 1 keep 2 weapons, but
Okay.
so and you'll get the extra 1 from the raise, so it'll be 5 or 6 keep 1.
6 keep 1. Okay.
I'm preemptively rolling his soak, so
Yeah.
And get at least 1 exploding die.
if you get a 27 or higher, you drop him. But
are you kidding me? I rolled a 7.
okay. He got a 7 also, which means he successfully soaked it, so he has 7 flesh wounds right now.
All right, so he took a brock to the face.
Yeah. And you kind of shattered part of the mask, which does not look to be of like high construction. Theirs actually appears to be of iron, but it looks like it's very brittle iron. Okay, so now we're going to go into actual combat. All right. We're the first round, they're all only going to get 1 action because their first action is going to be like pairing with a brute squad, which is going to give them bonuses.
Oh. Okay.
Come on, they can Voltron? That's
That's exactly it. They just kind of like bloodily dismember and reassemble around
They
them.
get picked up by their underlings and they start waving around these giant weapons.
Each underling becomes a limb.
Yeah. No, they're basically in command of it. And while they have a brute squad that's attached to them, okay, so that since the woman in yellow lost her first action, she's not gonna be able to do that until the end, but she because of Rose's action, so her only action this round is going to be to pair with the brute squad.
Okay.
The others are going to get 1 action each, and wow, way to go! They're going to go a 9 and 5. So everybody else is going to roll their panache as like not keeping totals, separate dice. You go on 1, 2, 3, or 4, etc. Does that make sense?
Yep.
If you have
2
the
and 9.
standard 2 in panache, you just roll 2d10.
Yeah, but you're not looking at them as a total. So if you put the panache
Okay.
2, you only have a panache. Oh, okay, I see what you're doing. You're just rolling them separately.
Yeah, so 9 and 7.
Oh, oops.
2 and
The 10 is just a 10. That's fine.
3, 8,
2
7.
and 8.
That's an 8 and an 8.
Wait. Okay, so Ruth, you have 2 panache, right?
Yeah.
So you act on 5 and 4 because that was your first roll.
Okay.
And Sans has a panache of 3, so she goes on 3, 8, and 7. And Rory has 2 actions on 8.
Nice. That's fine.
And
Okay, does
That's
everybody
awesome.
have their? So the way I'm going to do this for ease is I'm just going to say, okay, phase 1. Does anybody have an action in phase 1?
You mean
2?
on like die roll?
Yeah, like your phase
Okay.
was. So,
Mhm.
action on 3.
I have 1 and
Oh.
2.
I have 3.
Oh, okay. You have 1 and 2 or on 3, Rosa?
I have 1 on 3.
Okay,
But,
so Gav's got 1 and 2
goes on
first.
2.
Go ahead, Gav.
Gav is going to basically get in with the with Green's group, and he is going to. I think he's going to grab onto Green's sword arm.
Okay, so that's going to be a wrestling attack, which is just part of your brawling.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to like lock him up into a clinch. If you make the roll successfully, which does damage every action that he tries to escape.
Hmm.
And it's actually going to prevent him from locking up with that brute squad. So
Get back here. We are not done. All right, so that's brawling plus finesse. Keep finesse.
yes.
4K2. 24.
Ooh,
Okay, that is going to hit him, and that is going to lock him up. He does not have the actions to try to interrupt to do an active defense. So let me say this: if you do not have an action in this phase, and you would like for something to not happen that is about to happen to you, you may do an interrupt action. It can only be defensive. It takes 2 of your action dice, your 2 next action dice, and you must have at least 2 available. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Mhm.
If you have an action in this phase, it's just that one action. Okay, so that is not going to do damage until his action on 5.
That's when you realize his hand is breaking.
And then he has to do a contested brawn roll against you. And if he loses, he takes damage.
Now, how would crap, what's it called? Tough grip work on that?
It gives you 2 free raises. The firm
Okay.
grip.
Wow.
Yeah, firm grip, that's the word.
Okay.
Come here, I give you a hug.
Okay, so now we have actions on 3. Rosa?
I can't do much except maybe use my magic to get some information on these guys.
Okay. You can look to arcanas, you can look to strands to see how they interrelate to each other.
I'm gonna do Arcana this time, and then Strands the next.
Okay, that's going to be target number 15.
All right, so it's my wits, so it's 3. Keep 3.
Plus your arcana.
Oh, so 4th, keep 3.
Yep.
Yeah. $26.
Okay. Which one are you trying to determine? Actually, I'm going to give this to you. Green and red here do not have arcanas.
Mm.
They're just not interesting enough.
Okay.
The person in yellow in the center. Let me look it up to make sure I've got it right.
Oh, wait, this is the first time people actually see her use her magic with her mask off, too.
Yeah, do you want to
Oh.
describe that?
Yeah. So, she always is carrying a deck with her that she's constantly shuffling. She kind of stops shuffling, and you just watch as from the inside out, her eyes go straight black.
Whoa.
Mm.
Thought my
Damn.
pupils were dilated on mushrooms.
The she has the inverted tower.
Okay,
Is that bad?
It's not great.
it's
Tower is like the
interesting.
worst card.
Okay, so that's 3s, 4.
Ah, yes. So once I invoke a rune, is it essentially active for a period of time?
No.
So I'd have to.
You have to re-roll the rune every time.
Okay, I'm gonna do that. And you said it would be better to target the brutes with
The
lightning.
brutes are now paired with the people.
Mm.
So
Mine's
except
the
for
one in
Green's
front of
down
me.
here.
Yeah.
They're now paired up, so they now have the effective target numbers of the people with them for their defense, except for the ones near Green, which have only a 15 to be hit.
I'm gonna target yellow.
Okay.
with my
She is
lightning.
go ahead and roll your resolve and Vilscap first, just to make sure the rune goes off. And by the way, for the people who have not seen her doing her magic before, she's literally carving into her skin, but instead of blood coming from it, sparks are being thrown off.
27.
Down. It's a lot of dice.
Okay. So the rune goes off. Go ahead and make your attack roll.
Damn it.
That's a lot of dice to effectively press a yes or no button down.
It is. There are other stuff with much higher target.
33!
Damn.
Whoa.
Okay, so you got the last
Nice.
yellow there. Go ahead and roll 3, keep 1 for the. It's only 3, keep 1 for the damage, which sucks. Like it's one of my least favorite things about Vilga's
And you
Scout.
can't raise for damage, can you?
You can raise on the attack roll, but you have to call it beforehand.
I obviously didn't need that.
You wouldn't have made it if you called a raise because she's a 25.
Hmm.
Oh wait, no, you would have made it. You would have made it
Yeah.
by 1. Sorry, I was looking at the 27. Ignore me.
1, 17.
That's still not
Oh,
bad.
that's not nothing.
Yeah.
We got Splody. Splody dice.
She has 17 flesh wounds now. So
Oh.
I'm just gonna track this over here real quick.
Her robe is more of like
Um,
a bikini now.
And I'm curious, does she essentially like throw the lightning, or is it like coming from her hand?
That's really your call. You can either call
Okay.
it down from the sky or you can like hurl it.
I
Straight
would like to
Palpatine it.
hurl it.
Aw.
Okay.
Like kind of like a
Um,
So straight Zeusing it then.
yeah, precisely.
Whoa.
um,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. The one in yellow, like she barely throws herself away out of the way of like a direct hit of lightning. It still like sears us across skin, and you see blisters like rise on her neck, and part of her hood kind of burns away. And she hisses, "Sorceress."
Oh.
Runa under her breath goes, Scargent.
Lucky,
And-
Sparky.
So we're moving to a 5 now for actions.
Hey. So I'm wondering, what if I do it again?
Go right for it.
Fuck it, we ball. I keep
Let's go.
being like, oh no, I can't swear. No, that's just the Thursday game.
Yeah, that's only Thursday.
It's Thursdays only.
22.
That activates the Scareginess. So now
Okay.
get that.
I'm going to raise.
Okay.
I thought I heard
That's
him
very
call
brave.
rage.
Do you want to
Still a-
spend a drama
I
die?
think rage.
Actually, no, I'm gonna just pray, you know?
Fair.
3, keep 2, 13.
Okay, that's gonna miss.
Ooh.
That
Okay.
sucks.
Okay, so green has an action on 5. He is going to try to escape. He does not a brawler by any stretch, so he only has his brawn in a contested roll against Gav's brawn, and Gav also gets to add his brawler.
And a free raise on that too.
Yes,
Oh yeah.
So that's 7, keep 4.
beats an 8. Okay, yeah.
That-
31. I don't think he's going anywhere.
Damn.
Okay, so
That's an A.
go ahead and roll your brawn. Keep 1.
Okay. Can I use that free raise for damage?
Did you count it? You didn't count it into your 31.
Oh yeah, yes I did.
Okay, then
Alright.
you have to
So-
call raises.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So roll my brawn, keep 1. Correct?
yep.
18.
Okay, so plus the 7 he has is going to be a target number 25. He Okay, so he has 2 dramatic wounds, and he just failed his wound check by more than 20, which means for every 20 he fails by, he takes an additional dramatic wound. So how would Gav like to take him out of the fight?
Oh.
Um,
Oh.
okay, so we had him by the arm. Basically, this guy is going to struggle. The first dramatic wound is Gav utterly dislocating him at the shoulder and then driving his own knife into his right down here. So,
So straight into the throat?
yeah.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and make a resolve roll against a target number of 15.
Resolve. I actually have 3 of that.
Hmm.
17.
Okay. So he goes down, and these guys leave. They are now, if anybody wants to give chase, they can go into a chase sequence after them, but they are running.
Well, they just
Ouch.
watched me absolutely dismantle their lieutenant.
Plus, there's lightning and some people who were shanked with a giant spear, and it's just
Yeah.
not a good day to be a brute squad.
Yeah.
All
no
right.
kidding.
So that was so that was action 5. 6s. Anybody? 7s.
Yep.
Yo,
Okay.
Rosa
Going
can
on.
go first.
Huh?
Said Rosa can go first.
Yeah, I'm information gathering. I do not attack.
I love
Okay.
we got this whole melee going on, lightning throwing, people getting shanked
What
with their own
did you get
knives,
on
and
your
then there's
Arcana
somebody-
last time?
She had the inverted tower.
Yeah, inverted
No,
tower.
what did you get on your roll?
Oh, 26.
Okay. You also pick up you have seen Hans's and Maruna's cards before. You also see Gav is death, and he's also a full heroic card. And Len is
Sun.
the sun, and he is also a full heroic card.
Pretty cool.
Here comes the sun. Doo-doo-doo-doo.
Copyright.
Okay.
I stopped
Okay.
for 5 seconds.
Okay.
Fair use. Fair use.
Okay. The so what are you rolling this time? As
This
far
time
as-
I'm looking at strands.
Okay. Which strand do you want to look at?
I want to see how well the lieutenant and the main dude are besties or not.
Okay. Is that do you want to look at staves, coins, cups?
Oh god. Staves was parents'
Staves is authority.
authority. That's one. It has
Okay.
to be
Rose is like, I want the hot goss.
Pour that tea.
it will make sense, I promise. So that's oh god.
Hey, Red, I heard
So
Yellow called you a
3.
pussy in the locker room last night.
So no,
Wait,
actually, it's
how
5,
far are we?
Keep 3.
Narrative distance.
You are close enough that you can get into melee distance as part of your action,
Okay, because the lightning is a 25 feet thing.
easily within that range.
Cool. cool.
31.
Okay. You watch as Red's stave of 4 drops to a 2 as the green guy drops.
Okay.
It's not often you get to see a strand actively change before your very eyes, but watching green get hammered is definitely incentive enough for the loyalty of Red to go down.
Okay.
Well,
And to the others, can I yell something out at them?
Yeah.
Rojo. Rojos we want to hit.
Yes, chef. She doesn't say that, but she nods.
All right. Noted.
Len is going to shank the lightly fried yellow, who, because might as well take out the guy. I mean, if somebody's hitting him with lightning, that means he's
I think-
important.
I think yellow's like a good
She.
rare.
She. That's it. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
You may
so-
go ahead and make an attack roll. The target number to hit yellow is a 25.
Yeah, we're not going for any raises on this one, or at least not calling any raises, even with. Why? Y'all are soaking up the raises. You need to share. Just because you were in the story.
You have your
sooner.
own.
Okay. Yeah, it's just a simple but pretty deft block with a knife. And compounded by the fact that like you're not just fighting them, you're fighting them and their brute squad.
Yeah. Yeah, she's trying
Um,
to thread the needle with the spear that doesn't necessarily work so
Mhm.
well. But
Okay. So that was it for sevens, right?
Yep.
Eights.
Yeah,
Yep.
double.
Oh, it's Hans's time.
So,
Action surge.
stop.
I
It's
just
wackadoodle
I just realized I
time.
can't actually move my guy. Can't move my
Oh, is that because I dragged him out?
Probably.
Perhaps.
Oh, probably.
Where do you want to be?
Yeah, right there. That's
Okay.
perfect. Grabs the panzer hand out of his like kind of hip pocket, and I'm Russian red mask, motherfucker.
No, you're Eisen.
Let's see
Let's
here.
go ahead and feel free. If you're just taking 2 attacks, go ahead and roll both attacks at once. His target number to be hit is only a 20.
Okay. Just double check. Let me pull up my Nax here. Ooh. Let's see here. What's Red looking like in terms of armaments? What's he holding there?
A pair of knives. You notice that the rings are both, or the knives are both kind of ring knives, like they have like a ring over the crossbar, so that they can quickly switch
Oh.
the hold,
Okay.
which suggests a higher degree of like knife fighting training
Yeah.
than the typical.
Okay. I'm gonna kind of flip the sword in my grip. I'm gonna beat him. I'm gonna beat him with the broad side of my blade. Try and
Okay.
knock him over a little bit here. Let's see.
Guy runs up with a two-handed sword and just bonks guy with it.
Yeah, just kind of slap him across the face with the sword.
It's just a broadsword, but
What is it again? It's finesse plus beat. Okay.
Okay, in order for the beat to be successful, you need to roll a number of raises equal to their brawn, which is
Mhm.
2. So that
That's
makes your
2.
target number a 30.
Okay.
If it's successful, they cannot use it. So here's the thing. I admire what you're doing. They don't have the actions to actually take an active defense.
Oh, that's fair. Okay.
So I'm just trying to save you the.
That's fair. Save the unlikely roll. Okay. Let me just see here.
Stabbing always works.
Yeah, yeah. It's just a standard attack, then will work just fine.
I love the use of gauntlets as a weapon in this.
Where
Guns
is
or hands?
my-
That was a legitimate fighting stance with Zweihanders in Germany. Like,
So to hit is for me is going to be finesse plus warrior.
Yes,
Gotcha. All right. First attack, 28.
that hits. So do you want to go ahead and roll the second attack now, or do you
Yeah,
want to wait
second
and see
one.
how it resolves from this first attack?
Actually, I'll wait and see. I'll wait and see what we
Okay.
get out of this.
Okay, so it's going to be your strength plus the heavy weapon is a 3K2 weapon.
3K2.
So I believe
that's-
that's 7K2 for you.
That's 7K2.
Nice.
Yes.
bonk.
It's only
Oh no.
11. Rip.
Okay.
Mild bonk.
They take a dramatic.
Oh, all right. Yes, just go for second straight attack. Oh, 12.
Okay. So the second attack is going to miss.
Second is a miss.
Okay, and so Runa now has a action on 8 as well. Am I right?
Rosa.
It happened. It's Rosa.
I thought you were saying that Runa.
No, my
Oh,
actions are 4 and 5.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Rosa is 3798.
Oh, that's right. You're the one with all the panache. Okay.
Yep.
What would you like to take a look at?
So using that panache, looking at the red, just it doesn't look good, signore. Maybe you leave.
Okay. Would you like to
Lost
make a
an arm.
resolve roll to intimidate him?
Yes, please.
Okay, he has a resolve of 2. So that makes the target number a 15. If you make a raise on it to a 20 because of the injuries he sustained and his increasing doubt as to his survival at this moment, he will exit the fight, if allowed.
Okay. Let me do that then. So it would be 4K3. 17.
Nope.
Yeah.
That's if you were going for the raise. It's a no. I didn't hear if you said you were declaring one or not.
Not really. She didn't really
Okay.
care to.
The raise was necessary to have him exit the fight. If not, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply a penalty to his next action.
Okay.
Okay, so that was 8s, right?
Yes.
So 9s. Red face and red face is going to act on 9.
So am I.
And I've also got a 9.
So
Okay.
which one of us goes first?
The burly bros.
They're effectively
Bros
resolving
bonk.
simultaneously. Are you attacking yellow or are you attacking red?
Oh no, we're staying on yellow.
Okay, then we'll just resolve them at the same time.
Okay.
I'm gonna use green to beat on yellow. I am
Oh, the corpse
fully-
flail.
I am fully
Nice.
exploiting that
Beautiful.
meme.
Oh, wait, so you're also attacking yellow.
Yes.
Okay, so the both of you are going to get a free raise.
Awesome.
Nice.
In this economy?
A 31 hits you, right, Hans?
Probably. I don't remember how to calculate the defense.
It's your defense times 5 plus 5.
Defense times 5.
You guys have defense?
That's 10. That's 15. Yeah. Or no. Yeah. That's 15. That way hits.
Okay. I didn't declare any raises, so
I'm gonna use the free raise for an unkept hit die. Actually, no, I'm gonna use that for damage.
he gets 32 on his knife attack against you.
Ooh.
Okay.
He's coming for your kidneys.
And that's a resolve. That's just a resolve to soak.
No, it's your brawn to soak.
Oh, brawn to soak. Right. Wait,
If you don't get at least a 12, you're taking 2 dramatic wounds.
Okay. Ooh.
Oh.
7. That's
Oh,
rough.
That is a deep stab.
I've
What
got
would
you.
you wait?
That's
He's got a
brutal.
free. We've got a free raise for this combat though. Can he use that for defense?
If he takes an
To buy that
active
down?
defense,
Oh,
but he didn't
Yeah.
have any actions.
Also, was that
Yeah, I don't
with
have any
Red
more
Man's
actions this round.
penalty?
He got a 32 on his hit roll. Or a
That's
31 on
crazy.
his attack roll. It
Mhm.
was and he needed I believe a 20, right?
Defense times 5 plus 5.
Yeah.
That's 15.
Yeah.
He
so
got
he beat him by
double.
15.
Yeah.
And the damage roll was just due to one insanely lucky die.
That was really good. That's 2 explosions.
He is one of those people when backed into a corner. Apparently, he fights a lot harder.
Apparently, yeah. Noted.
all right.
I only got a 16 to hit.
I also only got a 16 to hit.
That's gonna miss for both of you.
Would the free raise?
Yep, because that puts it to a 21. It takes a 25 to hit.
Does anybody mind if I take the free raise to shank him?
I don't think anyone else has a
Go for
free.
it.
No.
Okay.
Hans
Yeah,
has
you
a
can-
free raise to give out.
Ah.
Yeah, you can take mine.
Okay.
Kill this motherfucker.
So that's brawn plus the weapon die, or how's this? Can't remember now.
Are you using
The boar spear. which is a heavy
well,
weapon. So
yeah, so it's 2k2, right? Or 3k2. So plus your brawn is 7k2.
7k2. Yeah, baby. Let's do
You
this.
you have a brawn of 4, right?
Brawn of 3.
Oh, okay, 6k2. Sorry.
Oh, that's still pretty decent. RNGesus, please bless me on this roll. $18.
So 18 plus 17. Okay. Ooh, I think that's one shy of doing 2 dramatic wounds.
Oh,
Let's see. 17 plus 18.
35.
They got a 16. Yep, one shy. So they take a dramatic and they lose their. All right. Rewind, make some other rolls real quick.
You don't need to make other rolls.
How is this for ambush?
Okay. Red does not have an action, but on their first action, they are running. Between Rosa's suggestion and seeing the boss just get walloped and knowing that this person with a broadsword has just been stabbed is still up in a blow that would have killed a lot of people.
oh yeah.
Their action is to be out if they are allowed. You are in melee, Hans. It is your call.
I mean, do I have the actions for this?
Well, I'm just saying, like they don't get to disengage unless you allow it.
Oh, okay.
So we're at 9 now, and we're going to move on to phase 10.
Okay. I'm going to stay locked on this guy. Like I'm kind of just if I see his stance change to begin to run, my stance is going to change to give chase, just as a kind of a signal, like no, I'm coming after you.
You stabbed me, motherfucker. You ain't getting away with this.
Yeah, it's like no, you stay right there.
So just as a quick check-in, we're at 2.5 hours right now. I'm fine with rolling out the rest of this combat or narrating the rest of it, but I do want to, I appreciate that while some people might be good, we also have Kevin, our producer, who has been here for 2.5 hours, and and I'm also getting a handle of running combat at this speed online. So
I'm good to finish the combat if everyone else is.
Yeah, same.
Okay.
Kevin says,
Kevin, can you give us a like a thumbs up or thumbs down?
In the chat, he
Okay.
said he's
Okay,
good.
cool. All right. So there were no 10 actions, right?
No.
Nope.
Okay. So we're going to go to the next round of initiative. Everybody's going to roll their panache again.
Nachi.
I'm gonna use combat reflexes and re-roll that 7. Okay, not what I wanted, but sure.
Oh, that's stupid.
153.
All right. So my bad guys are acting on 2 and 6.
Okay, I'm
1
at
and
5 and 9
6.
now.
I'm going so late.
I got 4 and 10.
Girls just
You
wanna
need to
have
recharge
fun.
after all that lightning.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I need some electrolytes.
Okay. All right. So they both have actions on 2 and 6, but first we have actions on 1.
Yes. I'm stabbing yellow if yellow is not dead, or at least down and out.
Yellow is not dead, so go ahead and stab.
All right.
I wanted to hear.
$34.
All right.
Should have found races, but my dice have betrayed me all night.
That's fine.
So
okay, so go ahead and make a damage roll.
all right, it's 7 keep 2. Yeah, 7 keep 2. No, 6 keep 2.
6 keep 2.
15.
And Rosa has an action, right?
Yep. And this time she's looking at coins on yellow.
Okay.
20.
Okay. They have no coin relationships with anybody that's here.
Okay.
The hirelings even are not paid, or like the minions are not paid hirelings. They are here for another reason.
Okay. Definitely interesting.
Interesting.
And if Runa's the only one near her, she'll tell her, they're not here for money.
Fascinating.
Agreed.
Okay. So actions on 2. I have actions for 2 of my bad guys. Anybody else have an action on 2?
Nope.
Nope.
Okay. That is going to hit Hans.
Oh yeah.
From
Oh
red.
no. Let me heal him.
Oh my god.
Let me help.
And passive
He's
defense
gonna
is
take
not
Are we
bad.
losing a character? Like
Actually.
session?
8 flesh wounds.
Ooh, okay.
Session
that's an
That was a
8.
more normal knife hit.
It's
Oh,
an
thank
8
God.
an 8 hit on run time 11.
Okay, so you have
So, yeah.
8 flesh wounds now.
8 flesh wounds and 1 dramatic, or 2 dramatic.
Yeah.
Okay.
How many can you take? How's
think
Hans looking at
Yeah, I don't remember how to calculate that.
What's your resolve?
Resolve is 3.
Then you can take 6, and after taking 3, you are crippled.
Okay.
All right. Okay, and so yellow is going to take their first action. Okay. They draw and fire a pistol at like point blank range at Len. And one of their own minions like spoils their aim.
Oh, thank you.
The
You
bullet
hit
just
the
kind of
bit.
like goes right by an ear, but
That's familiar.
okay. Same ear, same.
Yeah. Feeling of Dejan mustard here.
Okay, so that is the 2 actions. 3 actions.
Yes.
Okay.
I think I was 1, 3, and 5.
Yeah.
So if it's not, saves. What is cups
Hey,
again?
Len, what's tinnitus?
Cups is passion. It's generally
Swords.
romantic love. Although
Swords.
it can also just be an extreme amount of like zeal or hatred or
Okay, then I will do that one.
okay.
36.
Wow.
Okay. Everyone here feels zeal. It is how to put this. The brutes respect the authority of the 2 people in the masks. Does that make sense? You saw that earlier with the staves. That it was like a modest amount. They have a passion for something that is not present. You can kind of see one end of it that like these people are likely some sort of intermediary for. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
They have a passion for something that the people with the authority here are sort of abusing, I guess, or using, depending on how you view it.
Interesting. Okay.
All
Yeah,
right,
that's all
and
I
that
can do.
was 3s.
Yeah.
4s.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Okay. So, am I allowed to attack the mob instead of gold?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
I want to hit one of them.
Okay. So it's a target number 25. For every raise, you're going to kill one. Sorry, if you hit a 25, you kill one. For every raise, you kill an additional one.
I will raise once.
So that's target number 30.
Target 30. So brawling, keep finesse.
Yep.
4K2. Oh wait, that one's a 10. It's also a 10. 36.
Oh,
Nicely done. Okay, that cuts the brute stack in half.
So it's
nice.
just waving green around and just
Boom, boom. Nice.
Okay. Let's see. So that was 4s, right?
5s.
5s. Okay. I have 5s as well for their actions, right?
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Did we skip somebody?
No.
I've got a 5.
Yeah, we're on 5. Okay, that's me.
Red is looking like he wants to run away.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
So they're actually going to dedicate their action to it. They're going to make a finesse and athlete roll. You can make a contested roll with me. And if you succeed, you can prevent them from running away. If you want them to just take it, they will exit the combat.
Yeah, can I make a contested try and grab and hold on with the Panzerhead?
Yeah, I'll let you make a brawling roll.
Can I try and like bind that in a sense?
Yeah, you can make your bind roll to keep them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
football tackles them. Get back here.
Beat a 24.
What is bind? Just
Maybe
bind plus finesse.
Wrestling, probably.
How many do I have in bind? Oh, I've got 3. Okay.
Oh, you got a special attack, don't you?
Come on. Fuck, 18.
Okay. So they are exiting the combat.
All right.
Their brute squad is exiting too.
Oh, okay.
Get back here. Ow, my ribs.
Yeah, pretty much.
Does anybody else have an action to potentially interrupt the yellow here, that with the remaining minion fleeing, them already taking dramatic wound, just having lost 2 brutes, they are also interested in exiting the combat.
Can I lightning her?
Do you have an action this turn? Or this
No.
phase?
No, I'm stuck at 8 and 10.
Brutal.
Rosa.
You cannot give up both your actions to an offensive action, only a defensive one. And lightning is never defensive.
Rosa will yell at Gaverlen. Sol Motes, keep her here.
Well, Len will endeavor to not let her escape then.
Okay, you guys get to decide who is going to make. Do you first have to? It's going to be a contested roll, but only one of you is going to get to roll against her. The other one gives them a raise. So you guys decide amongst each other who's going to roll.
What is the roll?
It's contested. I roll, and you have to beat that.
No, but like, what am I roll, or what are either of us rolling?
Depends on the method. If you have something like bind, I will let you use that. Otherwise, brawl to grab.
Yeah, brawl to grab because I got a free raise.
Yeah, I'll let Gav do the grabbing then.
So you'll get 2 raises. Now, if this happens, you're not actually getting them bound. You're just preventing them from escaping.
Yeah, I'm just.
Does that make sense? So you'll
grab
only get the free raise from Len.
and then a free raise from firm grip.
No, because it's not an actual grip. It's just a prevention. Does that make sense? You're not
It's
actually like
to- it's
grabbing
to
them as they run
determine-
off because you don't have an action. What you're doing is maneuvering in such a way to cut off their retreat.
Oh, okay, I see.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Except I don't have a turn. Mine's at 10.
This is because they are disengaging effectively.
Okay.
But it's not like D&D would have an attack of opportunity. This is just I'm preventing you from doing this.
Just realized,
Okay. So
I think I rolled bind wrong.
You think you
It's-
rolled your bind wrong?
I think it's brawn and bind. I think I rolled finesse and bind. Is that correct? Because I'm reading firm grip, and firm grip says involving your brawn and has the bind as an example.
Does bind state?
It states in the
Firm grip
contested
is
to
really
break
broad.
the hold is the contested to like hold on once you've made the bind is brawn and bind. I'm not sure if it's I don't know.
So I believe it's the finesse in mind in order to get the grip
in order
and
to
then
make
brawn
that.
bind to
Okay,
keep it.
gotcha.
Okay, so it's a 28 for Gav to beat. They've got a free raise on it, which means they need to get at least a 23.
All right. So brawler plus finesse. No, yeah, because I'm not using firm. 23, you said?
23.
Yeah, no, that's not happening. That's a 13.
Okay. Yeah, you're kind of like go to maneuver. They have another pistol up and raised, and just sort of the momentary pause it gives of like nobody wants to be shot in the face. Is enough for them to slip around and run, and the two are running in different directions. We can move to a chase at this point, but given how late it is, I'm going to say that I would prefer we not do that.
Yeah, no, we can figure that out next week.
Save that for next
I
time.
would like to take one of Hans's dramatic ones, though.
Okay, describe what you're doing.
I'm going to go up to Hans. Do you mind?
Spit out a bit of blood. If you have something that would be appreciated.
She like puts her hand on his shoulder or back, whichever one is like more. If he's turned to face her, shoulder. If he's still like watching the runners go back, would you be facing her?
He's keeping an eye on the guys
Okay.
trying to escape still.
She's gonna put a hand on your back and use sympathetic healer to take one dramatic wound.
While this is happening, Rosa is putting back on her mask and going over to Gav and Len and giving them each cards from Wilma Props.
I'm not going. I switched fucking voices again. Not going to know what this means, lady.
Is an invitation?
Oh,
Senora Prost? Give job.
Well, I do need work.
Lots of
I
strange
only just
people
got from
giving
the
me
city
jobs
today.
lately. Lots of strange people giving me jobs lately.
Gav, as a resident of Freeburg, knows who Wilma Probst is. Like, as far as the people of the street are considered, could be sainted.
What does she want with me? I haven't broken anything in a while, I don't think.
Who is she?
What kind of over
Very
here?
important lady.
Yes, it's a new opportunity within the city. We kind of look back to Una. What did we call it again?
awesome. I was spaced out. I was reading something.
That's more just a what is our organization called again? I've forgotten in this moment.
I did too.
I think we're just like the council, like the Freeburg Freeburg
something
like
council.
administrative
The
council or something.
Freeburgs, but no.
Well,
I'm trying to figure out. if-
Organization name does not matter. Is kind of a work in progress. Anyways.
And
Well,
Rosa will do the same as she did for Runa and Hans, where she lets the death card float in front of Gav and the sun card float in front of Len. Motes y sol.
Gav.
It means God. It essentially she has a gift for seeing people with really awesome and cool fates for later on, and we've kind of been tasked with kind of tracking down more cool people like us and helping the city about. It's a really not quite metagamey way of explaining it. You are, if you choose to join us, we are making small business ventures within the city to kind of get off the ground. We will investigate strange happenings, try and keep the city stable. You said your name is Gav. Are you from here?
Can't remember what it's called. I'm from the riverfront.
Oh, I see. And you would know of the Iron Prince's untimely demise.
Heard about it. Which
Well,
was again?
it is although it may not be tragic for us, just us common people directly, it is poses a hazard to Friedberg's free existence, so to speak. There's a lot of people kind of eyeing this land. We part of our job in the long run is to try and stabilize the city and keep it as it is.
If we don't, there.
Civil war, etc., etc.
I don't like war. Too much marching.
Not
There's
not a big fan of it myself, I will say.
After this interaction,
There-
I believe I have
there's-
things to roll to have healed.
Oh yes.
Hans.
Just 1 second. There's
Yeah. I said after. It's
as you guys are kind of like talking about this, like the woman whose shop this has mostly happened outside of, like all of the other shops are empty, but there's like one woman that's kind of like standing in a doorway, eyes wide as saucers at like the bodies that are on the ground. You know what I'm saying? And like kind of like the streak of lightning and stuff like that. And she her eyes kind of flit to where, Runa is now bleeding through her dress in the same place that Hans was injured.
she's not in a dress.
Well, sorry, I meant dresses in attire.
Mm.
And she kind of she turns back into her shop, but she doesn't she's not like slamming the door closed. She just comes back a moment later and she offers large candles to the both of you.
Which ones?
To Runa and to Hans. Those are the only two that have been injured, right?
Oh,
Oh,
I
okay.
believe so.
And she Runa, you've heard the accent before. It's that like thick Highland accent. And she kind of like, you burn, feel better.
That's it's greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Is it sort of like the Veston accent?
No, it's Highlands Marches, Scottish.
Ah.
But her
Thank you.
command of Eisen is very limited.
Thank you.
She says, should go before the guards.
Yes, that's a good point. I think if we are to continue discussing any interest in business ventures, we should leave.
Yes. Do we search green first?
Oh yes, that's a good call.
Gab lifts him up by his ankle.
Okay.
Should-
So I'm gonna give.
just shake him.
I will let you guys decide who's gonna make the wits roll for the search, and they'll get 2 free raises from the number of people that are helping. But I don't really like the policy of like having 5 people roll.
That's fair. Has the best wits. Who wants to search the body?
Anyone with over 2 wits? Anybody?
3.
And you can add the criminal knack if you have it.
Oh,
I
It's
have
Rosa.
I
It's
don't-
Rosa.
don't have
It's
that.
Rosa.
Because you get free raises for whoever helps. I'd like to help.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give 4 free raises. I will
Yeah.
give 2
15?
plus 10. Okay. There's the mask itself, which is like everything else that they're wearing. They've got, the knives that they were carrying, which were not the same quality knives as like Red had. The the mask itself is like a kind of brittle iron that's simply been painted the green color that it has, but you're sure that there is something about the coloration which is specific and meaningful, and there is also a symbol that you don't recognize on the inside of the back of the mask. It's, for lack of a better word, it's like a stylized logo, and it's of a pair of hands shaking. One of the hands is clearly human, and the other looks remarkably like the metal hand that Gav has.
His red left hand.
In that it's skeletal, it has sort of 3 fingers, and instead of like the sort of rounded digits, it's almost more tapered, like claws.
Oh, creepy.
I do not know.
I just got into this city. God damn it. I just got into this city today myself. So
It's, ring a bell for anyone?
Has nothing to do with the criminal element.
Does not seem too familiar.
You know what? Gav, go ahead and give me a wits and criminal roll.
That's a dirty 20.
You have seen the same symbol marked in chalk once or twice on buildings.
I've seen
Never on the front of it, but in like side entrances or back entrances.
it's not for a shop, and that's a different accent entirely.
It
Is used in back ways. You won't find it in front of store.
like a secret marking for ne'er-do-wells.
Maybe.
anything
Oh.
else on the body?
No, it's been very deliberately stripped of like whoever was going out to do this understood there was a chance they would die. They're not even carrying coin.
Oh.
The clothes that are under the robes are kind of indicative of, you think, like a lower class merchant or like a workman who's been employed for some time.
Nobodies like me.
Oh,
Good
I don't
stuff.
think you are nobody anymore, friend Gav.
Yeah, I mean, if you were hoping to remain so, you have a shot at not being a nobody if that is what you would like.
We should probably drop corpse and leave now.
Yes, the gods will be here quite soon. We should get out of here.
Is
Gab
my
goes-
shop still close?
Gav goes the
Your
short.
shop is
bridge.
closed. It could potentially have everybody in it, but it is it's gonna be a tight squeeze. You have 2 chairs.
Gav takes the corpse and just dumps him in the river over the bridge.
Also,
Whoop.
so I know, what dramatic wound
Splash.
did Bruna take from Hans?
She has a wound he took like a knife blade that went all the way to kidney. When she sympathetically healed it, the blade's damage like retracted enough, so it's like just shy for both of you.
Mm-hmm. You got a very deep stab wound.
She's taken worse.
Yeah, so we are at the 3-hour mark now. So it's best that we wrap here. Let's assume that with the sort of commotion and whatnot, everybody's agreeing to meet very soon to kind of compare notes when the guard aren't actively out looking for who murdered these people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's the plan to meet up?
The theater?
Okay.
Yeah, theater seems like the best place for now.
Okay.
We'll need directions.
Then we're gonna drop the
yes.
curtain there with having traded directions and like, let's do this later when we're not on the street suspiciously in the middle of the night with dead bodies around.
You still have the jacket.
Yeah, I do still have the coat.
I'm going to, were you wearing the coat inverted or not?
I don't even know if I put it back on. I think he was still kind of wearing it like weirdly wrapped around himself.
Sure.
He's still got
Okay.
he's already got like a large coat on.
All right. So that is going to be it for us for tonight. Thank you for tuning into this very long session. I had a great time introducing some new people to the world and to our craziness. Thank you for everybody for putting up with how long we went on for, and our first real combat.
Yeah, let's go.
So now we have a sense of it, and things will just get crazier from here. So I want to thank our producer again and go out with the normal dirty 20 exit of sorry, I am running out of words. Be nice to, or be kind to people. And if you can't be kind to people, be nice to people. So thank you very much. And we will see you next week.
Good
Night,
night.
y'all.
Good night, everybody.